Hello, everyone. How you guys doing today?
Hi guys. Sorry, um I I'm still recovering.
What? What is going on? We might have to restart that. I don't know. That was crazy. I said, "Hey,
I'm
everyone,"
still
in their ear.
recovering. I'm still
Okay, well,
recovering.
I guess they'll know why you're recovering after they hear all the things that we've been through this weekend.
All
It's
the
been a lot.
things. We went
Needless
through
to say,
everything. If
we
you put
actually
it
been.
in, sorry, go.
I was gonna say we've been through every emotion that has ever been experienced ever. So
Literally. And if you put it into ChatGPT and you like ask him to give you a statistics of everything that could happen, like what are all the possibilities? We did all of those. We have the probability statistic is 100%. So
stop. We actually it's just been a lot. As you can see by the title, we had a weekend. And it wasn't even a weekend. This happened in a day. All in the same day.
it
And
could
me thinking
happen in
about
a
that.
day, which is
This is
really crazy.
this is actually really, really, really crazy. And we have to explain all the things that happened. As you know, this weekend we I don't know if they knew. I think they know. We went to go see Beyonce in Chicago. We're not really going to be talking about Beyonce in this episode. We do have a episode for that, but this is going to be all the things that led up to the event because I promise it's worthy of a story time.
It
Um,
is.
it was literally one of the, but honestly, I don't know about you. Every time, and you're still in Chicago, but every time I go to Chicago now, I just have the worst experience ever. Like it's just really crazy. Like I just have bad. There's some omen in the air. I don't know what it is,
Are
but
you saying it's
and I
black
move my hands like
people?
Trump. What do you say?
Are you saying it's black people?
You said what happened? No, I actually didn't say any of that.
You
Actually,
said when
I
you
don't. We're
leave
not.
a you said when you leave a white neighborhood and you go to a black one, there's a bad omen in the air. So I'm a little confused.
Okay, well, maybe if I didn't have black fatigue,
Oh,
and everybody apparently I don't know. Let me stop. Let me
yeah.
stop. I don't have black fatigue. Everyone calm down. He's obviously joking. I don't know what it is. It's not the black people in Chicago. It's just something. I don't know what it is. It's just everybody that I encounter is doing a lot or everything. All, the traffic, the cars, the situation, the I don't know whatever happens when I get there. It's just always terrible. But either way, we're
The
gonna explain
traffic
to
is
you
crazy. I
what
can
happened.
corroborate that. I said the
You said
traffic is
Chicago is
crazy.
crazy. Oh,
Yeah.
the traffic. Um, Yeah, so I don't even know how we should begin this, or how we should bounce off of each other or whatever. But maybe we should start. I'm trying to think. When do we want to talk about the pre-sale ticket kind of situation?
Let's start from the beginning. Okay.
Okay, everybody, buckle up, get a little drink, get whatever you want, whatever you need to get. I know it's a Wednesday. It might be later on in the week for you. I don't know, but buckle
Yeah.
up. We're gonna
You
show
can
you from the.
drink on
We're
a
gonna tell you from the
Wednesday.
beginning. You
Isn't
can. I'm
that's
not
when they
saying.
do their little happy hour specials? No?
But sometimes people, yeah, okay. I'm not saying now I look like I'm just like, okay, you can't drink on a Wednesday. You can. I'm just saying some people don't. Like some people only drink on weekends. I don't know. Anyways, whatever. But yeah, we're gonna start from the very beginning, so buckle up. All right, you wanna start, Malik?
Okay, so basically, let's take you back to February, okay? We are scrambling. Beyonce has just announced that she is going on tour. Okay, we didn't know that
Cowboy
this was
Carter.
happening. Cowboy Carter Tour. Okay, so we actually don't have our coins together. My coin is in Rome. His is in Spain. They're not
My coin
together.
my coin is locked behind bars, actually.
It's locked in
And
bar.
I actually haven't seen a coin. I'm actually borrowing other people's coins.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
all you need to know. And we okay, whatever. I don't. But they don't need to know my our financial situation. Anyways, continue.
And there's 1,010 pre-sales. There's Citibank pre-sales. There's Verizon pre-sales.
Verizon and
There's the if you are taller than 7 foot pre-sale. If you're shorter than 5 foot pre-sale. There's all these other
literally.
pre-sales. We actually can't get any. Well, we can get tickets, but like I
Well, yeah,
said,
we
our
could have got
we
tickets
could have got
if we
we
had the
could have
funds,
we could have got
but we
tickets.
did not.
We didn't. The coins, like I said, were in space. They with
They're in
Katy
orbit.
Perry. They're orbiting. Uh,
That's really funny.
but then we decided, okay, like now at this point, it's been like 4 days of the pre-sale. We're missing out on all the big things. We're like, okay, maybe let's look at what we can do on different websites. Let's go to StubHub. Let's go to
Right.
SeatGeek. What's out there? Let's shop around. We end up going on StubHub and we find 2 floor seats for not a terrible price. And
Right.
we decide to do those floor seats. And they're right behind Sweet Honey.
Well,
Fucking.
Well, first, we had already had tickets at this point.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. That is true. We did
So
have
we
tickets.
had tickets at this point because at this point we were like, we need to get tickets because everyone, really, what I would say fucked us over this time was the fact that it seemed like there were going to be no tickets. Like we
Yeah.
were like it was very frantic. The first 2 days was like everybody and their mom was talking about it. There's hundreds of thousands of people in these lines. We're in queue for this, and she has much less shows than she did for Renaissance. So we're
Yes.
like, we have to get tickets. So
Hmm.
we bought tickets on Ticketmaster on the floor, but they were towards the back, and we really didn't like our tickets that we were uncomfortable with where they were. So that's why we searched for more, and we were like, should we just try to basically resell those other tickets and get new ones? So continue.
Yes,
That's what
yes,
happened.
that's
So we had
exactly what
tickets
happened.
already.
So we had tickets already because we pulled the trigger preemptively, but we are like, let's shop around for more if we can find better tickets. So we're doing that, and then we end up finding these tickets on StubHub that are closer on the floor, and they're like behind the pit. So we're like, okay, we're okay with these, okay? So then we're like, now we need to sell these other tickets. We put the tickets up for sale immediately, and nobody actually cared at the time. I'll let you know if they ended up caring, but they didn't care at the time. So then we are like, okay, we have tickets, it's fine. We have 8 tickets, and that's okay.
Right. 16
We have 17 tickets. We set 16 tickets.
is what we
Working all
said.
day. We have tickets, but then we're like, it's fine. We're gonna go to the show. That's all we know, right? Time passes on. We're like, okay, we need to start booking our stay. We need to start booking our stay. We're looking for places. Darius looking for places. I'm looking for places. And then like I ended up finding this one place on booking.com that was like, well, first we were going to do this Airbnb, but then the Airbnb sold out.
Yeah, so I also want to preface. First of all, we are not financial gurus, okay? Do not listen to what we're saying in this and go do this. If you are, I guess it's your funds and you can do what you want to do. But and don't judge us either. Okay, first of all, I'm going to go see Beyonce. I am a part of that ladies beehive.
100%.
I'm gonna go see Beyonce. I didn't have the funds. I didn't. Okay. I could have very much used the funds for other things. Okay. Our funds
Rent,
were
bills. Sorry. Just
yes,
letting you
many
guys know.
things. Wherever Dochi's umbrella was, that's where our funds were. Okay.
Yeah.
And and the reason why I'm saying that is because there were often times so for both the tickets and the hotel where we found good things for good prices. But it don't matter if the deal is good. If you ain't got it, you ain't got it. And so there was definitely times where we were like pushing off on the hotel, like maybe we should wait, or like this is a good deal, but like should we get this or whatever. So there were things, and then by the time we had the funds, they were sold out. So now fast forward, I think this is probably a month out from the show.
Yeah, there's probably a month out from the show. So then I'm finally like, okay, let's get this one place. It's like a 1 bedroom, almost like an Airbnb, but it was on booking.com. And it
Mm.
was a 1 bedroom apartment. We're like, we can do this. Jerry has an air mattress. So he's like, we can bring that and we'll be fine and we'll do that. So I booked that, right? And I didn't know, like they sent me like a message through the booking app that was like, we need to know your mother's maiden name. We need to know who you're bringing. We need to know why you're coming here. We need to know what you're going to wear when you come here. We need to know who you voted for. And I'm going, this is crazy.
Stop.
But I didn't see any of these messages at first. And then I decide like, now we think in our head we have tickets. We think in our head we have a stay. And we decide to,
My God.
I decide to like, I don't know. I think Darius had asked me a question about he had asked me to send him a picture of the place.
Yeah, but then I think you had told me that you were like, okay, by the way, this was probably like when you booked it. They're like they told you about a week or two before we go, they're gonna get a deposit, and so I think I asked about that about like last week. So this is about a week before the show. I'm like, oh, what did they ever tell you like when they're gonna take that deposit out so I could give him the money for that? And so then he starts looking into it. That's when he saw the
Yeah,
message.
yeah. Well, no, at this point, it's probably like 2 weeks before the show. You
Right,
just
right.
asked me about the thing, and I was like, I think they said it would be in the 7 days, but let me look. I noticed that they messaged me, and they messaged me all that, asking for all that information. I never responded, and it said you need to respond in 24 hours, or we're canceling your life. And then I had thought this was wrong. They had us confirmed this whole time, but for some reason, I had thought that they had already canceled it because I was looking at something else that
A
I had
different thing,
done in
yeah.
the past. Um, so then I call them, right? I call them up. There's a lady that answers, and the lady is like, oh, yeah, we just didn't get that information from you, so you can send it. And I was like, so we still have our reservation, right? She's like, yes, you just need to send me this, you just need to answer and respond and send me the information that we asked for, and then we can move on with your process and everything is fine. So I'm like, okay. I do that. I message her. I send all the things. She doesn't respond or anything, but I'm like, okay. She said it's fine. Maybe that's all they needed. There's nothing
Mm-mm.
more to say. So then time didn't heal everything. Um, time didn't heal
And we
everything.
actually needed everything.
We did need everything.
She said I don't.
And then now we get an email. I get an email from Ticketmaster, and
Oh my God.
they say, actually, you don't have seats anymore. They say because we actually got rid of your entire section that you were going to sit in,
Right.
because the stage was too big. Don't have any seats. We can't tell you what your seats are going to be, but you're going to have new seats that are going to be comparable. Okay. And you have to come on the day of the event and go to gate 0.
Now, if you know anything about Malik and I, it just did not sit right with us waiting to the day of the event.
In our
I
spirit.
need to know. I need to know where we're gonna be at before then. I need to have lived the experience in my brain and my dreams before it actually happens. I
Exactly.
can't be waiting till the day of I'm dressed up in the outfit and you're gonna be like, oh well, you guys are here. What if I don't like it? I don't. It's too late. It's at the you know. I don't. I didn't like any of that concept at all. And we found out a few weeks prior. So this was we actually found out probably about the seat thing before the hotel thing because we found out when Beyonce like moved into the whatever stadium she was like rehearsing in. We knew that the stage was going to be bigger, so we were like, okay, they eliminated those seats or whatever. And so already at this point we're a little worried, but we're thinking, okay, by the time the tour starts, we'll know where people are getting their seats at, right?
Yeah.
So then continue. We were like all
So
over Reddit
then
and
I
everywhere.
called Ticketmaster right away, and I talked to this lady, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. That has nothing to do with us. That's between you and God. And I'm going, well, and she's like, where'd you even get this email from? And I said, from Ticketmaster. And she said, okay, well, email them. And I said, I'm talking to them. I'm talking to you right now. And she said, I really don't give a fuck. She said, email them. So I emailed that email, and I said, yeah, but I think that this isn't like a call and
Right, right.
response type of email. I don't know if that's gonna work like that. And she said, well, you can try it. So I emailed that. I hang up with her. She was no help at all. Actually, no. On that call, I end up changing me and Darius's prior tickets to new tickets. I transfer our old tickets for new tickets that are a little bit closer, but still wasn't feeling right in our spirit. But we just, in case that the other tickets were bad,
Right.
we had those. Were you gonna say something?
Just in case you're a little confused, let me clarify. So we have 4 tickets, okay? 2 are from StubHub and 2 are from Ticketmaster. All right. So our StubHub tickets don't exist anymore because the entire section does not exist. There are preferred seats and they were closer to the stage than our Ticketmaster seats. But now we got an email from Ticketmaster through our StubHub seats. They were like, hey, by the way, you don't have any seats anymore because or we're changing your seats, right? And so now, just in case, Malik and I do have 2 extra seats, but they're farther back and we don't want those. We want the StubHub tickets that now don't exist anymore. So you can continue. He talked to the lady and basically
Yeah.
she
So
said you're out of
then,
luck.
yeah, she said we're out of luck. So then, I'm like, okay, this is a lot. I then tried to call again. I tried to call Ticketmaster again, because I was talking at night and I was talking to Ticketmaster Asia, and then so I was like, let me talk to Ticketmaster US. Maybe they know something. So I call again, like a few days later. That lady said that she was the most powerful person at Ticketmaster. She said, I talked to Tammy the Ticketmaster actually. And she said, she said, I just don't know what is going on. She said, I don't know what you need to do. She said, but you just are, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. So now I'm like, okay, this is crazy. I'm then like, let me call Soldier Field because Soldier Field probably will have a better idea because it's like, I don't know. We have to pick up the tickets there. I called Soldier Field and they
Do you
said,
remember? Yeah. Okay, sorry. Continue. I was gonna say
I was going
also
to,
they were wherever Dochi's umbrella was too.
yeah. And I called them and they said, Yeah, so that's what they said. They didn't answer, actually. They didn't answer any of the times that I called. They didn't answer not a single time.
I called as well, and they never picked up the phone at all. And actually, they only let it ring 3 times before they hung up, and then not hung up, but like it went to voicemail. And then their voicemail thing is, hello, hello,
Yeah,
hi, my name is Kelly, and we unfortunately could not make it to the call. I was like, what?
that
Every
is
single
what their
time you're like,
voicemail
oh,
is.
hello. I
Because it
hate when
answers
they do
in
that.
three, and it does it in three too. So then, and then it goes like it sounds like somebody's frazzled a little bit, and they go, "Hi," and you're going, "Oh, hey," and it's a voicemail, which is a little crazy. So Ticketmaster, we never ended up getting in contact with Ticketmaster. So then we're like, "This is a lot, whatever." So right now at this point in time, our biggest concern was the tickets. We had already figured out the stuff with the
Hotel, yeah.
Airbnb or whatever, and so we were just focused on the tickets. And so then we had plans. So then Darius was like, "Well, I don't know. Let's call StubHub." And I was like, "That's not going to do anything because we bought our tickets from StubHub. They aren't going to have any information." He calls apparently the most powerful person at StubHub.
I
And
called Steph. She said, yeah. She said, actually, I heard about this. She said, don't even worry about it. I heard about it. I said, okay. And she was like, yeah. So what I'm gonna do. It was actually really confusing, and this was a lot because I was confused because I didn't understand the situation either. I didn't understand that StubHub was like a resale place. Like I didn't know any of that stuff, and so I also didn't have any of the emails or the confirmation or anything. And I'm at the hair salon getting my hair done. By the way, guys, we're up on the neck of the show now. This is I think this happens on Thursday or something, or I think it was Thursday or Friday or something like that. This is when I was calling StubHub, and she was like, "Oh well, I heard about this. I know the show's this weekend. Other people got their seats moved or whatever." And she was like, "I have to contact the seller." I'm like, "What do you mean, like, or whatever?" She's like, "I have to contact the seller," and I'm like, "Oh," and I'm thinking in my head, I didn't know we had it. Like, it was a seller involved. I don't know. I'm telling Luke this. He's like, "What are you talking about?" And
that doesn't make any sense.
I'm getting my hair washed. I'm like, I don't know what this means. And so whatever. She couldn't help us. She was not the most powerful woman at StubHub. But she tried to help us though, but she couldn't. Anyways, continue.
So then, so now I'm just like, Dix, we just have to do what they said. Like, we can't be calling anybody. Nobody's going to answer. Nobody knows what happened. We just have to do what they said. And I said, the best thing that we can do is go to Soldier Field tomorrow and go early and hope that,
On
because
Saturday.
yeah, on Saturday, and
Our
hope,
show is Sunday.
or so is Sunday, and hope that that the worst case scenario doesn't happen where they say we can't tell you until your show. Um,
Mind you, though, also we were trying to be strategic. This wasn't just like we want to know where our tickets are. We also wanted to know where our tickets are, just in case they like to do or they try to do us dirty. Because like, what if we don't know? Like, what if we went there and they gave us a seat and it was something not comparable? I want to be able to have time to be like, hey, can we change this around, whatever, right? And obviously they're doing that to other people who are in that section, so I want to have priority of like, which seats are open. I don't want to be the last one there. That's why we wanted to go on Saturday the day before.
well, the thing is, the thing is, we didn't know if it was like a first come first serve type of thing.
Right.
I was saying I didn't think that they were gonna do us dirty because every single other person wasn't done dirty. Nobody was done dirty.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, "What if that's the vocal minority or whatever?" But I was like, "I don't
Right.
know." But I got the fear. Um, and so then we go on Saturday. They just drive 6 hours at I don't know when you left.
8 a.m.
At 8 a.m. I'm getting my hair cut. I'm getting my washing set in the morning and packing and doing all of this stuff. And then he comes and picks me up at around 1. And then I'm like, so then we're going to Soldier Field and we're like, okay, let's get the merch that we want to get first because everybody was saying that they were selling out of every merch that everybody wanted.
Right. So we're frazzled too because listen, we have a lot to do on Saturday. All right, our show isn't Saturday; it's on Sunday. But we have to go to Soldier Field. We have to get all the merch that we want to get. Which, first of all, there's a long line. Malik's finding out that they're selling out on the first day of the cities that they're going to, right? And so we also have to figure out our tickets, and we have to check into our hotel. And those are the three main things that we have to do. And I just drove from Ohio to Chicago, and we're trying to do all this on an empty stomach. Um, and we have nothing in us at all. We're running on fumes.
Yeah.
Um,
And and obviously we're probably up a little later, because we were
right,
excited but also
packing and
nervous and anxious, and got no sleep the night before, and it was just so much. So then he picks me up. We're on our way to Soldier Field, and then we get to the parking garage, and it's $30,000. And then we're like,
literally.
this is very crazy. So we go up to the thing and ask the lady if there's any other parking or what or anything like that, and she says, yeah, so what you're gonna want to do is gonna go down this street, and you're gonna see a long line of cars who all have their hazards on and are parked on the side. You can go there, but one of you is gonna have to get out, and the other one's gonna have to stay in because they will tow your ass
Yeah,
immediately.
she had a gnarled finger, and she was trying to give us some wisdom. She
Yes.
said, "But," she said, "Do not think you're cute and leave that car." She said,
Hmm.
"Don't do that." And she said, "One of you needs to stay in there," and because she said they will tow you, Mama. And I
That is
said,
what she said.
"Oh, okay." So we reverse out or whatever. I'm driving again. It's very like this is Chicago, and it's the weekend, and Beyonce's in town. There's traffic galore. And we're near Soldier Field, so it's already hectic and whatever. We have so much stuff to do. And we end up passing it because I didn't know where it was, so we end up passing it. But we turn around, we go back, and I park behind all of these cars. There's like probably what would you say, like 11 or 12
Yeah.
cars. 11 or 12 cars, they all have their hazards on. I say, okay, Malik, get out and go look to see how many people are in their cars and how many cars are just are empty. And he's like, it's probably like half and half. And I'm like, okay, should we just take the risk?
So we
And we
do.
take the risk.
We take the
Yeah, we
risk
take the risk.
and we get out, and then we immediately go to a merch stand, and like it's not the like official bus or whatever. We go to the merch stand because we're looking for stuff. I also am supposed to be buying merch for another person too. Um
Right.
and we get up there, they actually say, I say, so do you have this? No. Do you have this? No. Do you have this? Yes, but in a tiny. And I said, oh, and then I was like, damn, they don't have anything, and this is so much. And I was supposed to get, and Darius wanted a jersey, and my friend Greta, she wanted a jersey too. And they had, but I don't know what color you wanted. Why didn't you get the jersey there? You thought the medium was too big?
Okay, so I thought that, yeah, I thought the medium was going to be too big, and I was like, oh, but in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, we're gonna go to the other merch thing anyways. They probably have one there, and
Well,
they
no,
just
you were
never.
right to think that because then, and my friend wanted and Greta wanted a medium, but oh, she wanted a medium, but it was in red, and like blue was one of the last options if they didn't have red. So I'm going, okay, well, and I wanted a hoodie. And I asked the guy, and I'm like, okay, like, well, who's gonna have the hoodie? Where's gonna have the hoodie? And I wanted the city exclusive patch. I wanted the hoodie, and then I had to get a jersey for someone else, and Darius wanted a jersey too. And he said, Mama, you are not, he said, you're not going to get a hoodie. He said, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to break it to you. Patches, we have them out the wazoo. You'll be able to buy 10. He said, jerseys, yeah. Small, medium, large, extra large, 2X, you can have it. Any of the colors.
Another club, but you're not getting,
uh, you're not
yeah,
getting
I
a
don't know.
goddamn hoodie. And I said, oh my God. So then I'm like kind of proud. I'm proud of myself because I'm going like, that's really the only thing that I had made peace with that I wanted. I was thinking that I wasn't going to be able to get the patch already because that just was an exclusive. But then I was
Right,
like, I
it's an
want a hoodie.
exclusive.
So then we had passed by the official merch bus before, and it was like kind of a long line, but now we're looking at it and the line is actually 10 times longer.
Literally, it's under a tunnel. You
It's
have
under
to
a
actually
tunnel.
you have to get your social security card, and there's a security guard.
You do, you
There's actually
do.
so many things happening, and literally, because to put it into perspective, there was like merch stands almost. They were like smaller, and then there was like the official merch truck, and they all had these long lines. Now, I don't know at what point do I go check on my car.
Well, I'm like, because he's like, okay, but what about the tickets? But now I'm like, no, 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 we need to get in line immediately because I want my hoodie, and we need to get in line. And I'm looking, I'm purveying, I'm actually literally sizing up the line because I'm going, okay, they wouldn't get my hoodie in this size because they're little, tiny, petite, and they wouldn't do this. And I'm going, okay, we can stay in this line, and I think I should be fine. So we get in, we walk a mile to get to the end of the line, and then Darius is like, okay, I'm gonna go, and I'm like, we're gonna do our tickets after this. So then Darius is
Right.
like, I'm gonna go back and check on my car. I didn't see him for the rest of the day.
That that is
I didn't see him
that
for the
is
rest of
I
the
don't know.
day.
I don't know what happened. Malik claims that I actually spent 45 years and in a different dimension
You
in my
did.
car. And well, I think what was happening was literally on my way leaving. I just feel like so many things happened. Like a lady said that I dropped something, and I didn't drop anything in the line. It was some screws. Like I'm not even joking with you, some screws. And so then somebody came out the line and picked it up and gave it to me, and I was like, "This is not mine." Anyway, so then I'm walking. I'm trying to vlog this whole situation. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to go back to my car and blah 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 this or whatever." So I'm walking back to my car while I'm vlogging or whatever, and everything is fine. I get back there, there's like 11 cars still, all have their hazards on. Nobody's really near there. Like only the cars are right there or whatever. I put my stuff in the car. I walk back. I'm still vlogging. I'm like taking my sweet time. I'm looking around at the stadium.
Right.
And then I get back to see, and Malik's already way farther up in the line than he was before. So the line is moving pretty fast. So I get back
It wasn't
and
moving fast. He was gone that long.
oh
Because
my God, whatever.
no, you guys, I'm texting because at this point, I legitimately think that his car was towed. Because he was gone for so long, and I'm texting him, going, "What is going on? You're scaring me. Like, what is happening?" And
That's really
that's why
funny.
I was high up in the line because he was going do 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 do, with a vlog cam and picking up screws off the ground.
I was
Um,
having a good time apparently. I don't know, but my car was there.
yeah, his car was there, and the rest of the cars were there too. I'm assuming.
Yeah. All the cars were there.
Okay.
They all have their hazards on, just like we were before. So I was like, oh, let me just put this in there. I'll go back in the line. So I go back, and basically we just end up, staying in the line because we were like trying to see. We were like, should we try to go somewhere else? Because this is a kind of a long line. We were like, should we see? So we decided that we were gonna stay,
Yeah.
and
We get a little
yeah,
closer, and
nothing.
they say, "We're out of every single jersey that's ever
They do
existed."
say that.
And I
Um,
said, "Oh my god."
And I said, oh, so maybe I should have got that jersey from the other one because they only
Yeah.
had blue and medium.
Mhm.
And I could have probably gotten away with that, but I wanted a small, and I wanted the option to be able to choose red or blue. And I was like, oh, it's fine. I'm gonna be able to get one at another thing. And they just did not have any of
They
the
did
jerseys at all by the
not.
time we got up there.
Which was so much because I feel bad because I was taking a purposeful gamble where I was going, they should. Well, I was told by the man that they
Right,
would have every single jersey in every single style and every single color and every single size for the end of time. Until
right.
Act 3. And I was going, okay, well, it's fine. I'll be able to get the red jersey or whatever for my friend. And then, so then, like, we're waiting in line, and then we're still getting up, and I'm still scared that they don't have my hoodie now because the jerseys and this and that. And
Right,
then there
right.
was like this woman in front of there was this woman, the woman that was with that little girl.
Hmm.
I had asked, me and Darius got into two different lines to see who's ever would get first. And I had asked this lady, and I said, can you please ask them if they have like the hoodies and what size? And then she just went through with like, and I was hoping, I don't know. I'm trying to think if somebody, I don't know if you're paying attention to this, but I feel like if somebody behind
Kind of
me
was.
asked something like that, that's the first question that I'm going to ask right away. Am I crazy?
Yes, I don't know. I don't know because she did go. She did her transaction.
She did her entire transaction
But
before asking.
and yeah, and at that point, it's like you were behind her, so like you
I'm
could have
gonna
just
find
asked
out.
yourself then. Right, you're
Exactly.
about to find out in 10 seconds because you could have just asked yourself. So maybe she should have asked first, but she still asked. So I don't
Yeah, she
know.
still asked at the end of the thing, and at that point, I wasn't even in that line anymore. Because I moved
Right,
to
right. Because
Darius's
my
because
line ended up going first. Yeah.
he was first. But I don't know. I was like, that's so crazy that she didn't ask that first. But whatever. Maybe I'm crazy. But then I go there and they did have my they did have the hoodie. So I did get my hoodie. They didn't have the patch. They didn't have the jersey. So the guy just actually, I don't know why he
Everything
said
he
that.
said it would have, they didn't.
Yeah, everything he said that they would have, they didn't. Everything he said that they didn't, they had. Which was crazy. But then I got my hoodie, and Darius got the tour
I got
book.
a I got an art book. I thought I didn't know what was happening. Though we don't even have to get into that. All you guys need to know is I was overcharged for an art book. And she's
That came
but
out
Beyonce's
in
like,
May of last year, actually.
are you serious?
Yes, that book is really old.
Okay,
That's
well
why
you
it's
guys will never
still
see
a
me again.
thing.
Um, okay, well I want the tour book, and the tour book is apparently sold out, but I have the
It
art
is
book, and I
sold
don't know.
out.
Wow, but it doesn't matter. I spent my money. My money was spent. Okay, and I can't go back and change it. So nobody make me feel bad for what I got. All right,
Yeah.
Beyonce's in full Technicolor at the foot of my bed right now.
And then
But her books are old.
yeah, I got my hoodie and that was it. And it cost me 7-Eleven.
Okay,
Um
I was gonna get, there were some things I was like that I thought were cute, like the zip up hoodie or whatever. But I was like, I don't know if I can justify $150 purchase, even though I wear my
Okay, but
Renaissance
you were
hoodies a
wearing
lot.
$150 purchase.
Yeah, no, I was, and that's when I had the $150 to purchase. That's when I had the money to purchase it. That's when I knew where the umbrella was.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
But I've lost the umbrella since then. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know where, I didn't know where my funds were at. Cowboy Carter, this era is a little bit different for me. Okay.
Well, I
Anyway,
knew that it
so
was that much, but I still like that
right,
because I was thinking, do I want this shirt? But then I was like, I don't know, because I was jealous of your hoodie. Because when in Renaissance, I bought this,
right, and
and
it's not, you can't wear it as often.
yeah, and I was jealous of the hoodie. So then I was like, I really want a hoodie, and I like the hoodie. The hoodie's very good quality, and it's in my favorite color. But anyways, I spent that money on that hoodie. So then after that, we're noticing that there's a sacred pop up because I really wanted to go to the sacred pop up too because I wanted to get the keychain that was at the sacred
Hmm.
pop up because I have a Renaissance keychain. I wanted to get a Cowboy Carter keychain, and then also at the same time, I'm like, let's figure out the tickets. I go and ask um a guy, and he's like, this actually no. We go to another merch booth. Darius checks his car again.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes, this does happen. So I go back to my car again, and this time I put the art book away. Okay, so I put the art book away in the
And
thing.
he puts
Probably
my
did.
hoodie away.
Yeah, I put that in the car, lock it up again. Again, there's probably a few less cars, but there are definitely still cars. There are probably like 6 or 7 cars still. I'm in the back or whatever. I have my hazards on. There's nobody around, whatever, right? And so we go back to, or I go back to the merch booth line, the merch thing or whatever, because now we're trying to find. This is the third merch line we're in, trying to figure out if we can get the jersey for Greta. And I think I gave up on the jersey at that point. So we were just basically there to figure out if we could get that. And then you were trying to get the city patch too,
Yeah.
at that one.
And they had neither, which
Right.
is really crazy.
Right. So we stood, I don't know, probably like 20 minutes we stood there
Yeah,
trying to talk
probably
to
20
people and
minutes
this
we
and that.
stood there. So then after that, I was like, okay, should we ask about how we get the tickets or whatever? Or should I wait? Should we start waiting in the sacred line? And then he was like, well, let's check my car. So
Right.
then we're
But we
walking.
almost asked someone because
Yeah,
there
we
was a
did
couple people
almost
around.
ask someone. But
That's
then
important.
that is very important. We did almost ask somebody, but we didn't. So then we go and we're walking towards the thing, and I go, wait, where's your car? Where's any car?
But listen, though, I had walked back twice already. So Malik wasn't with me any of those times.
Mm-mm.
And every single time I've walked back, I've gone, where's my car? But it's been there. And I think it's because the way it was set up, there was like a whole bunch of like merch booths and things like that, and trees and fields and stuff. It was for me, it was hard to see where my car was because it was also on a bend. It was weird. So like sometimes I would look and my car wouldn't be where I thought it was, but it ended up being where it was every single time, right? And so Malik says that, I was like, oh, it's fine. It's right there. I do that every single time thinking that my car is gone.
And then we're walking a little more closer, and
Just
we
a tad
notice
closer.
just a tad close, but then we notice that there's no other cars there other than
The
his.
cars are gone. Malik was
And
right. The cars were gone, all of them.
they're all gone because I was saying there's no cars there, Darius, and there weren't. And then there's actually a battalion outside of his car, and he's saying that's
My
the
car was
battalion.
there.
Yeah, his car was there. And he's saying I think that battalion's for me. And I said, no, they're just chilling. I said they're on
Yeah,
smoke
he said
break.
that. I think that's the smoke break for the cruise that has the smoke break.
Yeah.
I said I don't think so, Malik. I said they're in front of my car and they're looking a bit aloof right now.
Yeah.
I'm not knowing what's going on. So I'm like, oh my god, and I'm trying to shuffle and pick up my step
And
to
then
get to the
I'm
car.
going, but see, I'm going on the side that they're on, and he says, and then the guy says, hey, this your car? And I'm like,
God, and I said yes, and they literally look at us. Oh my god, I was so embarrassed. I want you guys to think about this. There is not a single other vehicle in the lane that I'm in. Remember, there was 11 cars in front of me. 11. Okay, now there are 0. I'm the only person on this road with my hazards on in the middle of the street with no one in the car, and the guys are going, what the hell?
and
What the
this happened in a
heliante?
span of 20 minutes.
Literally, I literally dropped off Malik's sweatshirt and my art book in the car. There were cars in front of me, probably about 6 cars. And then we literally stood in that line for 20 minutes. By the time we got back, all the cars are gone and they're going, what the fuck? And they're looking at me. And I said, sorry, the lady told me to do this. And he's like, I don't care. Get the hell out of here. I'm like, oh my God. And they're all in uniform.
That's not what happened. That's not what happened. What happened
Oh my
was
God.
he said, we caught the tow truck. The tow truck's about 10 seconds away. So then I turn around and I'm looking back. And then I see the tow truck that's there. So then I'm going, oh my God, this is actually so much. And I'm getting caught, and Darius is doing this with the seatbelt.
Am not.
Yes,
First of
you
all,
are. Yes, you are.
let me just say this. First of all, if you guys don't know, when have you ever seen Parking Wars? They don't play. When your car is hooked up to the tow truck, it cannot be unhooked. Okay, when that person who does the gives you a ticket for your meter being overrun, when they start typing in your license plate, it's clipped. You cannot undo the ticket. You can't undo the tow truck. They're gonna take your thing to the pound with the dogs, and they're gonna be barking. Okay, so I was like, oh my god, when the guy said that the tow truck was at the nearest light, I said, oh my goodness, I didn't see it, but Malik said it was actually right there about to hook it up.
It actually, he was holding out the hook, about to put it on the back of your car, actually, is what was
Anyways,
happening.
I literally get into the car, okay, and I roll my window down. The guy that was like doing so much, I don't know where he was like. Okay, but listen, let me explain. Sorry, I do have to say this part. It literally looked insane. Like I actually have I'm jarred. The what I saw when I got back, I do look like I'm insane. Like I literally saw it was just a road. Like, and it didn't look like a road when we had parked behind all those cars,
It was
because
just a
it looked like
road.
almost it looked like a parking lane. Because there were so many cars parked with their hazards on. I was like, oh, everyone's doing this. But when it was just my car, it looked insane. It literally looked like I had like some kind of like I needed to get my license revoked. Like it was literally there was no light, it was no intersection, it was nothing. It was literally middle of the road, and there are cars going. What's going on? They're trying to swerve around,
Yeah.
and it's different when there's a line of cars, but when it's just you, now you look insane. But yeah, so I take off my thing or whatever.
Thinking of
I put
his
my
hat.
seatbelt on,
Yeah,
trying to
he's
be
doing.
safe.
And the guy says, "Come on."
And I said, okay, I'm trying to put my seatbelt on.
And I
And he
said,
literally
"Darius, go,
stops
please."
traffic.
I said, "Please hurry, go."
And
Because
he
I was.
literally stops traffic for me to go. And that was so embarrassing. And I was literally so frazzled for like the next 10 minutes. What happened next?
So then after that, we're like, okay, well now this is a lot because we didn't get the tickets. Um, do we like want to go back around and he drops me off and then I'm the one who goes and tries to talk to the people? Or do we want to now go and drop off all of our stuff at the hotel, recuperate, and then come back? Because we were gonna try we were gonna park his car at my like house so he wouldn't have to, because the place didn't have any parking, so we're gonna park his car at my house and then take an Uber back, and the Soldier Field was on the way to my house, so we were like, let's drop off all of our stuff there, go back, stop at Soldier Field, then we can go back to drop off his car and then Uber back.
Which is
um
all so much, by the way.
yeah, and then as we're on our way there, Darius is like, okay, so how do we check in, like what's the check-in? I said,
I said, I said, yeah, so they should have gave you like an email or something, like it's like you check your email. And
uh
you said, what happened?
Yeah, I
An
did say, you
email.
said what happened, because I said that I don't think that any of that happened, because because the way that the booking works is you like, booking sent me an email and was like, hey, like maybe you want to tell them when you're coming. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I tell them when I'm coming. And this was like 2 days before. And I put in, and it's almost like you put in a request type of thing. And I did that. And I said that we were coming from 2 to 3. At this point, it's 4.
Right. It's like
Um, it's
4:15. Like,
4. And I did the thing, and I'm noticing, and I was like, you know what? They actually didn't respond to my thing, or like say okay. So then I was like, let me call them.
also, let me just say this. They have our money.
They do have our money.
They had our money
They
when
had our
Malik called the
money
first time.
before we had Cowboy Carter tickets.
They literally they have our money. Okay, everybody, just want you to know they have our money. So at this point, I wasn't really stressing about it because I'm like, oh, they have our money. They know we're coming,
Yeah.
right? Because like you would think that they would know.
You would think.
Yeah,
Well, they okay.
yeah.
So then I called them, and I'm like, hey, so hi, this is Malik Jackson. Sorry, I remember that she did a lot. I said, hi, this is Malik Jackson. And I like am on my way to the property. Like, how do I check in? And she said, Malika. She said, okay, Malika. What are you talking about? And I said, and I was looking at Darius because I was like, why is she calling me Malika? But whatever. And then I was like, well, I'm about to like be at the property. I'm like 15 minutes away. Um, how does that work? And she said, okay, let me look you up. So we hear a little bit of a tip tap on over the phone. And she's going, I don't see a reservation for you, Malika. And then I'm going, okay, I don't know what that
I'm
means.
trying to be calm.
Me too.
I'm trying to be
Because
calm.
I'm like, well, I don't know what that means, but because I just talked to this lady. And I know that I just talked to this lady and that she told me that I had a reservation. But Darius didn't know this was the same lady I talked to, but she had a
Mhm.
distinct voice. I know I talked to her.
So that's the same lady he talked to when we were trying to figure it out a couple weeks ago, and we were like concerned that we didn't have a reservation, but we did.
Yeah.
She assured us that we did
Yeah, she
have
assured us
ours.
that we did. So then she's like, how do you spell your name? And I say Malik. And she says, okay, Malika. Um, she says,
Did
okay,
all right,
Malika.
Malika?
And then she says, okay, so what is it that you needed? Like almost like she typed in my name, she found the reservation, and then was like,
Right.
okay, so what is it? But then I was like, oh, well, I needed to check in. And she said, um, okay, check in to where? And I said the property. I said the property. And she said, what's the
Hmm.
address of it? And I said, it's whatever, whatever, whatever. And then she says, okay, like, I'll give you a call back. And then I
And I
said,
now, mind you, I'm driving in the passenger seat. If you guys don't know, I just want to make sure you understand. This entire weekend, I have PTSD from being in a car. It is so stressful to be downtown at all in Chicago when you're trying to. First of all, when it's busy and there's nowhere to like just breathe. I'm just trying to. We're trying to figure out a reservation. I need a place to park and breathe so that and we literally are 10 minutes from our last PTSD situation when my car was almost towed, and now we're having difficulty with the hotel, and I have nowhere to go. I'm just driving along Lakeshore Drive. I'm trying to figure out where we're gonna park so that we can figure this out. So she's like, okay, we're gonna call you back. So I ended up finding a spot, which they were actually the MVPs of the weekend. That place we parked at for literally that long. But anyways,
literally. So then she texts me. Sorry, I need to look at my evidence.
he said he had to see the receipts. Y'all need to know what happened. Um, Mind you, I didn't book any of this, and at first I was like, okay, this is fine. I'm gonna be calm. Everything's gonna be okay. They have our money,
Well,
which means they
I
have a
was thinking this is
reservation.
weird as hell. As soon as she was like, "We can't find your reservation," because I just talked to the lady.
Right,
Um, and so then she texts me. She says, "Hi there, Malika. Once again, my name has an A at the end of it."
right.
Um,
On the text now.
yeah, on the text. And she says, unfortunately, I can't really find a reservation under your name. Can you look for the reservation code so I can use it instead to search? I send her the confirmation code, and there's a pin also. I send her that pin. She says, may I know where you booked your reservation? I say, well, my name is spelled Malik, not Malika. That might be the problem. And also, I booked it on booking.com. And then she says, sorry about that. Let me check. So then I wait like 3-4 minutes before I respond. She doesn't text back. And then I say, no worries. Just to be like, okay, let me respond. So maybe she'll remember. So then doesn't respond back. I call again. Okay. I call again. And then, a man answers the phone, and the man is like, hey, like I'm telling him the thing. And he's like, oh, okay, where'd you book? And how did you, and he hung up. He hung up on me.
No, you heard boo boo boo.
Yeah. And then I said, Darius, he just hung up on me. And he's like, no, I think there was might have been a connection.
Yeah, I said maybe the call dropped.
And I
Guys,
was
I
like,
in these situations, I'm always trying to be the most optimistic because I just cannot fly off the wire. I can't do that. I got to be calm. Maybe given the benefit of the doubt, maybe the call dropped. What text did you get after that?
well, actually, and then because in my head now I'm going, this is definitely crazy, and he definitely hung up on me. I call back again. I get can't talk right now. We'll call you back later. Okay, so I go, what the hell does that mean? I call again. I call again. Because what do you mean you can't talk right now? And then he says, in a meeting, can we talk later? He said he was in a meeting at 5 p.m. on a Saturday. And I
5 p.m. on a Saturday after he was on the phone with you.
literally,
You couldn't have said, "Hey, I have to go to a meeting right now, or hey, can I call you back in 10 minutes? Or he literally just hung up and then just said, call you back later, and then said, I'm in a meeting.
Yeah. And I don't know what that means at all. So now I'm going, this is no, 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 no. So I say, I'm outside of the property as we speak with my stuff. So I need you to at least send the door code. Text me it. I'm confused what the problem is. And then and then a couple minutes pass, and then he sends a text. No, I call again. He doesn't answer. He sends a text then after that, and he says, my apologies, but we will not be able to accommodate your request for now due to an unforeseen situation. I will initiate the refund, and you can request to cancel this. Hope you understand and find a place suitable for your stay. What the fuck does that mean?
Do you guys? Okay, I don't think they understand. This is not. We're not in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, we are in Chicago, Illinois, on a Saturday, the weekend of Beyonce. There are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people in hotel rooms, booking hotel rooms the entire weekend. Okay, this is not some simple, oh, I hope you find out some place to stay, whatever, right? This is something you need to book in advance, which is why we did.
Yes.
Okay, and now we are houseless, Airbnb-less, hotel-less, and homeless. We have a car and stuff in the car. That's it.
And that's it. So then I'm texting back, and I said, what does this even mean? Will my refund even come? Because how am I supposed to find a place to stay we're past the last minute when you guys took over $700 from me? Like, what is going on?
Right.
And then he just sent, and then I get a text now from the lady I was talking to, and she basically says the same thing, but just adds my name in it. And I'm going, what is going on? I'm calling them again. They aren't answering at all. At this point, they aren't answering. They aren't texting back. They aren't doing any of that. So then me and Darius are just parked, in Gaytown, Chicago, and everybody else is walking around having the best day of their lives.
Literally skipping. We saw people skipping.
They were skipping.
Twirling.
They were smoking and walking with their dogs and holding hands and doing all this, and that was pissing me off. So then I'm trying to find like how you call booking. You know, nowadays they don't want to talk to your ass. Nobody wants to talk to you anymore.
Oh my God, that was
use AI.
annoying. I don't like when they like hide the number in the metaverse.
They do.
It was literally so insane. I'm like looking for the number. I'm like, okay, it literally says contact us. We have a phone available 24/7. Like, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm clicking on that. It's not a link to click on. They're like, oh, well, you got to put in this code and this confirmation thing. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's crazy. I hate when they make it inaccessible to call someone.
And they always make things nowadays inaccessible. They want you to talk to AI, and that's never gonna cut. I can't. So then I finally found the number of where you need to talk to. I call the guy, or I call a woman, and she answers. And I talk to I presume to be the most powerful person at Booking.com. And she says, I say, okay, listen, this is what happened. She says, oh, I'm calling their asses. Give me just 1 second.
Yeah, she says I have them on the other line.
Yeah, she said I'll have them on the other line immediately. We go on hold or whatever. She calls them. She gets in touch with them. Mind you, they stopped answering us completely. And she comes back and she says, they said that it was some kind of maintenance issue or something. I don't know what that means, but that was completely unacceptable of them. She said, we're going to accommodate you with the latest and the greatest in innovative technology. Your stay will be universal. Your stay will be, you'll transcend during your stay. Immediately,
and she said, yeah, and she said, whatever the difference is, we're going to invoice them. Don't worry about it. She said, whatever difference is, find your stay. Don't worry about it. We're going to accommodate you.
No, she said at this point, we're going to find you a new stay.
Right. That's what she said. She said, we're going to send you an email. You can accept it, like the new place or whatever. And then whatever the difference is, we're going to, we don't even worry about it. And so we're like, okay, now full stop. And full disclaimer, I want to say, there was something I was literally me saying that, and I forgot what I was going to say. Something about the, this maintenance thing is new. Okay. Mind you, this is how we know they're lying.
Yeah.
Because if you had a real maintenance issue, that's the first thing you would say before the reservation. Because you would have had a reservation. You would have said, hey, by the way, we have a maintenance issue. And you would have contacted us immediately when you had that maintenance issue, right? But no, you waited to the last second. And now when booking.com calls you and they're on your ass, now it's, oh, well, we have a maintenance problem. That's the first time we're hearing of anything. And that's why we need to. But anyways, continue.
Which is crazy, by the way. Can you imagine? Because there's so many layers. First of all, we had to contact them, mind you. Like,
they never contacted us. They have our money.
Contacted us.
And we had to contact them.
And they knew that they weren't going to be able to accommodate us this morning when they woke up. Like, but they let us, and they knew. I don't know. They just stopped responding. That's crazy. That's literally
all of it is crazy.
So crazy to me.
It's unprofessional.
It's so unprofessional that they started off by immediately lying and being like, "We don't see your reservation. I'm not sure what's going on."
Right, and they have our money.
They have our money. And booking also, she was like, "I can confirm your reservation has been reserved."
Right.
And then they lied about that. Then they lied. Then the guy was going, I'm in a meeting, not answering, dodging calls.
He hung up on you.
After he hung up on me. Do you know how crazy that is? Hanging up on somebody and they're saying that they're outside of the place is just great. And like he hung up, like he tried to like do it like, yeah, and I like mid-talk.
You're lying.
Yes, because did you not? Because literally I was talking and then my voice started trailing and I said, and then I noticed that he hung up.
I wasn't really paying attention when you were doing that. I think I was looking at something on my phone, and so that's why I didn't know. That's why I said, "Oh, the call might have dropped," because I didn't know what happened.
Because he hung up like mid-sentence to almost make it like seem like he didn't hang up, which is so skeevy and nasty and gross, and I hate it. But then anyway, so then I'm like, okay, this is nice. Like we're gonna be staying with Beyonce wherever Beyonce's staying.
Right,
we're staying with her.
When literally we were going to be at the Ritz-Carlton, we were like, okay, well, like this will be fine. Like maybe this was supposed to happen. Like after the whole car tow situation, like now we might get an upgrade in our thing and we won't have to pay anymore and we'll be able to stay tonight. But like, oh my God, that's annoying. Whatever,
exactly. Right? So then I get an email from the good lady and she says, I may have miscalculated my power. She said, we only have a budget of $66 for you. So take it.
I said 66 US dollars.
She said, yeah, $66. $66. On the day before Beyonce. $66 is what.
Well, actually, the day of Beyonce,
yeah,
for a lot of for tens of thousands of people.
Yeah,
the day of Beyonce,
because there was a concert that night.
Right. This is Beyonce weekend. She had 3 shows in Chicago. We were the last show, so everyone is already there. All right, for their show basically this weekend, and we have no place to stay, and they're trying to offer $66 to us.
$66.
What are you talking about?
You can't even on a good Monday. We couldn't do anything with $66. So
in Chicago, what are they thinking?
Crazy. And then I'm like, what is going on? I need to call this person back. And then she sends a thing. And it's for Motel 6 outside of O'Hare. And I go,
O'Hare? I just was so shocked every step of the way.
Literally.
At this point, now I'm panicking.
I've been panicking.
After we knew, at first when we were talking to the most powerful woman at booking.com, we thought, I was like, okay, that maybe they'll just like be able to figure out a place for us to stay and we won't have to worry about it. Then she offered us $66 in the email. We're going, what was that? And the places that she offered were in dang near where my grandma lives, 45 minutes away. And we're going, what are you talking about? We need to be near Snowden Field.
So then I call back and this man answers, and for some reason he's already had a bad day. Like he's already like sighing and huffing and puffing at us. And I'm going, damn. And mind you guys, I am literally so nice. Like I'm not doing, because I understand that this doesn't really have anything to do with them. Like it's the people who fucked us. Like if I was talking to the people, I would be doing a lot more. But I was talking to them and I was being very kind, very patient, very considerate. And the guy was not at first. Like he came around at hour 2.
Right. He came around. He did the opposite. But he seemed very frustrated in the beginning.
Yeah, and I don't even know why.
Right.
Because I was just going like, yeah, and this happened. And he said, well, we can give you 25 euros.
That's literally when he said that, my face darted. I looked at him like €25? First of all, what are you talking about? And this is when I got confused because like the lady who we originally talked to, she gave us in the email $66, and
Mhm.
now it's down to €25. Which,
Yeah.
first of all, that's like 27 US dollars.
I go to the conversion
What?
really quickly while I'm talking to them because I have to
Yeah.
look it up.
Okay, so what does that mean?
I don't know. That's what we were trying to figure out. And he said, it means you get 25 goddamn euros. What do
He
you
said he ain't never heard
think?
of Euro before, and I
Yeah.
said, "What are you talking about?" And he didn't even know what Chicago was.
No,
I swear, because if he knew, he would not have offered 25
because
euros.
that's crazy. And I'm going, listen, like, this is the weekend. You don't understand. This is the weekend of a concert. Like, I did. And he said, oh, well, yeah. You're probably just not going to get shit. So I don't know if it's the weekend of a concert. And I'm going like, what does that even mean? And then I'm like, you need to find us a place. I'm sorry, because I can't do it. This is wasted on me. I said, you need to find us a new place immediately because I can't do it. And he's like, well, how it works is we're gonna have them like reimburse us an invoice. And I said, okay, well then they can pay for whatever we need them to pay for. And he said, well, I don't
Right,
know about that. And I said, Andrew, his name was Andrew. I said, Andrew, I know about it because this is crazy. We're outside of their place with no place. They can pay an extra $300. Like, sorry.
right.
And I need their listing gone.
Literally, that
Because
is a big
what
thing. Is
is
like
going
they need to be
on?
penalized
They do,
immediately.
like to the third degree. So then he's looking at place and he's like, okay, what about this in Midway Airport? And I said, Midway Airport, Andrew, please. I said, we need to be at Soldier Field. Like, what do you mean? And I said, are you guys going to give us some kind of transportation voucher when I have to spend
Right.
$100 on an Uber from Midway Airport to Soldier Field? And he said, well, no. And I said, okay, then we need to find another place. And then he said, well, I'm looking for something in the budget. I'm going, we need to say, damn the budget because it's not going to work.
It
Um,
would have worked if this was a month prior when we booked our thing on booking.com, but
exactly.
the budget no longer can be restricted to €25 the day of Beyonce. You can't
At
do that.
all whatsoever. So then like he's like kind of saying this, and I said no, and I said okay, what about the study, at this place? It was a place called the Study, and he said that's a little expensive. I said that's a little. I don't give a damn, Andrew. Like they can pay it. And he said
And
I
it was
don't. What?
only like we're talking about we weren't being outrageous, but we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about like $800. We paid like $650 or something, and we're talking about 800 in the early 800s. I think that's what the study was. I can't remember,
Mm-hmm.
which they could do.
No, it was seven something.
Oh, either way, I'm saying it wasn't. We weren't being
Yeah,
outrageous,
we
is what
weren't
I'm
being
trying to say.
outrageous, especially for this. They could have paid an extra. They could have really paid an extra $400 for this, but
Literally
we
for what they
weren't being
did.
outrageous. So then he's going, I don't know. And while the whole time he's saying, I don't know, and I'm trying to convince him to get the study sold out. So
Literally on the phone, and
on
we
the
said,
phone, the
"Oh,
study sold out. So then we're going, this is so much. And then he goes, okay, you can go to this gym in the Holograms Museum. They have a suite there. It's very nice. And I say, I don't want us to go there. Tell us a different place. But keep in mind that he said that.
So the reason we were trying to listen, this is unfair because we a month prior picked our place, paid our money, did everything we needed to do, okay? And now the bottom fell out of our plans the day of Beyonce, basically. And so now we're trying to figure out all these other places, and we're being a little bit picky. We don't want to be 45 minutes away. That's not the place that we want something comparable to what we paid for. Like we want it in the area or like close because that's what we paid for.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it cannot be done. It cannot be done. It
That is
cannot be
he's
done."
going.
I'm like, like, cause like
Exactly.
that's crazy. And so he's giving us these locations, and we're like, no, unless they're gonna give us travel, vouchers or give us something for travel, we don't want to be that far from the stadium,
Mhm.
especially when there's that many thousands of people and trying to get an Uber. You guys know it's hectic with a concert. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, so but I think I don't know. I hope you guys are listening. I understand. Even if I was doing the most, if I was
Right.
yelling and doing something, because this is crazy. So then, he's going. Yeah, I don't know. We're just going through these places. I swear there's another thing that sells out before our eyes too on there. And then I start trying to look at the gym and the holograms, and I'm going, maybe we could do this because it's 34 minutes away. But that was the shortest time out of all the ones that he had named. And I'm like, okay, maybe we can do this, Darius, because look at this. This isn't bad. Like, it's kind of like a sweet thing. Let's do that.
So I was fine with parking further if they had parking at the place, because then like I could use my car if we really needed to, and then the only time we really would have to Uber is to the concert and
Yeah.
back.
And Jim had parking.
Right.
So then I'm like, okay, you know what, Andrew, let's do the gym. He says, the gym? But what about the Marriott? He said, what about the Midway Marriott Airport?
Literally, he said, no, 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 no. We were like, okay, we're fine. Oh, fine, we'll do the gym. He said, it cannot be done.
he said,
He said it
he's saying
cannot
that's
be
too
done.
expensive. He was going, I don't know, that's so. And I said, what do you mean? You're the one who told us about the gym.
Literally, he recommended it. That was one of the first places he recommended.
Yeah. And then I
And
was
so we're
going,
like, what?
and he was going, yeah, but in the sense that, and I said, no, we want to do the gym. We want to do the gym. And he said, but please check out the Midway Airport, Motel 6. And I said, I
Literally.
don't even see that on here. And I said, okay, fine, Andrew, send me the damn email for Motel 6 at the Midway Airport. So then he says, okay, I'm processing it now. And I said, hold on. I said, processing what?
He said, un momento.
I said, you're supposed to be just be sending an email of what it looks like. And he says, oh, yeah, you caught me. Wrong choice of words. Am I right? And I said,
Yeah,
yeah.
he did say that.
And he said, okay, like, let me put you on a brief hold. I'm going to send you the email, which I don't know why he had to put us on brief hold. Well, I
I
know
don't know either.
now, but at the time I was
Right.
going, why? So then we're on hold for as long as it took Darius to go and check on his car that first time.
Okay, first of all, I was gonna say literally, but it wasn't. His was longer actually, so don't try it.
And we're going, what is going on? Like, because what is going on? So then he comes back and he's like, okay, I talked to my supervisor. Like, we had it so you can do the gym. That's fine. Like, you can do the gym. And I said, okay, well, I want this room. I want the penthouse deluxe suite at the, he said, I already did a room, so please calm down.
He said, no, yeah,
He said, I already
there's
did a
not a
room,
much
so please
choice
calm
in this
down. I already sent
thing.
it to you. So then I'm looking, like, while we're doing that, and I'm noticing that if you book through the gym, it's less
Website, yeah, their own
expensive.
website.
Yeah, if you book through their own website, it's less expensive. And then Andrew was also saying we can figure it out ourselves and self-relocate, and they'll still give us the
Right.
like money for it or whatever.
So a light bulb goes off in our head, and we're thinking, okay, so if we do have to go farther, and now we have to Uber to the place farther, what we should do is, because we got approved for that price or whatever, we should just book it through the website, pay a little bit less, and have about $100 plus to spend on Ubers back and forth from the Soldier Field to the place, so that they can, basically pay for that part. So we basically get the okay from Andrew that we can relocate to a different place as long as it's under the 700 and whatever that he got approved for. So we're like, okay, fine. So we get off the phone and we're like, looking around. We're trying to look at different places. Maybe we can find a different hotel that's near, maybe closer or whatever, that we can have a little bit less. That's not through booking necessarily, right? What happens? I keep on asking you. What happens after?
So then we're like, you know what? Well, Darius is like, let's do the gym. It's fine. But I'm now going, well, we're going to have $0 left after we do the gym. Because mind you guys, we still have to pay for this out of our pocket.
We don't have the refund yet.
We don't have the refund. We have to send them after we've done the deed, after this is all done.
Right.
We have to send them the thing and they're going to give us some money back. But I'm going, well, what about now? Because how are we now going to be able to Uber to these places? And how are we going to be able to do this? How am I going to eat? Because we're not.
When they want us to drop another 1,000 this weekend, but which we didn't even know we were going to have to do. That's basically what they want us to do.
And how are we going to do that? But they're just like, well, I don't know. Let's just do it. And I'm going, I don't know, because we need to figure out the money first. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm realizing it's 10 p.m. and we didn't get the tickets. And we never got the tickets.
I mean, he's not joking. It actually, the sun has gone down.
The sun has gone
Beyonce's on the stage.
She's on the stage.
And we are looking stupid with no hotel and no tickets. Okay. The only thing we have is merch and a piece of breath in our lungs. And it's the last one.
It is the last one. And then I'm like, I don't know. This is so much, because should we go back? Because at this point, I'm like, this has been such a crazy day. I want all the craziness to end on this day. And then we don't have to think about the craziness anymore tomorrow. So he's like, should we go to the thing and try to get the tickets? And then I'm like, but this is so much, because mind you, I don't know if you guys remember a few episodes ago we talked about this, but like, we haven't been looking at anything at the concert. Like, I've purposely been avoiding TikToks and this and that on the things, and we hadn't looked at anything. But now I'm going to be at the concert if we go back, because Darius can't go with me. and he
Because
has
I
to
might
drop
be in
me
my
off.
car.
Yeah, because he has to be in the car. So then I'm like, you know what? It's fine. I'm over it. Just go. Just vote. Just vote. And then he starts. So then he's like, okay, well then let's hurry up and book the hotel. So then I
Right.
go and like I send them. I'm starting to do the reservation, and he's driving now, about driving towards the stadium. I'm doing the reservation on my phone, and then I say, what was that? And actually they all disappeared before our eyes. And mind you, by all I mean there were at least 7 rooms available.
So I want you guys to think about this. Every single option, we were on booking.com, or talking to booking.com for probably 2 hours, 2.5 hours. The guy was giving us options, all these places that were farther north and this and that and blah, 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 blah. Every single one of them sold out, completely gone. All the rooms, all the different deluxes, the kings, the penthouse suites, all of them gone. And we're going, what is going on? All because we said, well, maybe we should try to find a little bit of a cheaper place,
Yeah.
so
Which
that
is
we can use the
so
other money on Ubers.
crazy. And mind
Everything
you,
was
these
gone.
places are far. These aren't places even in
Far.
downtown. So these places are far, and people are going, oh, let's get this one, which is just so crazy. So then I'm like, okay, now we need to park again. So then I'm trying to look on things, and I'm going, okay, well, I do have a travel credit card, and I guess I can try and look on there because I have miles, and you can like use the things towards things. And I had done that earlier, and there was a place that was like exactly $775, which was in our budget, and we were just like, okay, let's just try to do this, and let's just try to book it. Oh, sorry. Also, I'm like, let's call Jim and them. I call Jim and them, and it's not even doing anything. And Derek's going, "That's your dumbass slow ass phone." And I said, "I don't know if it
I
is."
did not say that.
Did you? You said that's your dumbass slow ass phone. I said, "I don't know." He said, "Well, try to call me." And we were talking on the phone.
In the car.
Actually, and it wasn't my phone, and I was going, "What is going on?" And they just didn't have a
I tried to call and it said, you have reached Verizon Wireless. I said, oh my God, their line was just not existent.
and I don't know what that means, you guys. So now we're looking even more crazy. I'm just going, I just don't know what that means, that these things sold, like 8 things sold out.
Within like half an hour.
Literally. So then we're like, okay. So then I'm starting to look at the thing, and I'm like, maybe we should just do this. And then I end up trying to book through my credit card, and I'm using my miles and everything like that. And then we do that, and we're like, we hope that we have this and this is real or whatever. So then we're like, we're gonna go there after, but let's first drive to the stadium. So then, or no, we drive to the hotel first. We drive to the hotel first. We get there. We come out. I try to open the door, and the door is locked. And then a man is at the front door desk, and he goes, and he gets up to open the door, and he opens the door like a crack, like he just sticks his head out the door, and he says, "What's your business here? Who are you here for?" And I said, "I have a reservation." And he said, "That's across the street."
That's embarrassing.
Because at first I was going, this is crazy. Like, because what is he saying, that we can't afford to stay here or something?
Right.
Because it was very weird, but he was actually very nice. He's like, no, it happens
Which
all
we
the
couldn't.
time. Yeah.
Apparently.
We couldn't. But he was like, no, this happens all the time. Because they're called the same thing. And I guess they have
Right.
condos and hotels.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, maybe.
And then we go to the actual hotel, and then I'm talking to this lady, and this lady has been working since we woke up this morning, apparently. And she was like, okay, what's the name? And she's typing for so long, and
Right, which is, we have PTSD already,
Yeah.
so we're a little scared.
And I'm going, oh my God, what if she doesn't have the thing? And she says, okay, Mr. Jackson, like, what, okay, like, let me check you in or whatever. And then I'm like, I can relax a little bit. I also had to pee so bad at this point, because now my body's finally
my
got
God.
tensed and stressed. And I'm going, okay, we'll go up to the room. But then she gives us our cards, and I say, what are those little gift bags over there? You gonna give us one of those? Huh?
And she said, damn, I was getting him.
She did.
This
say
is
that.
water.
She said,
And he looked embarrassed.
I was very embarrassed because it was just water. She said, I was gonna give you one, so please come. But I thought it was like because other hotels are doing a Beyonce collab for the weekend. You know, they did that little commercial, they ate that up. Maybe we should have stayed at the Marriott. But then
Apparently,
she was like,
at Midway.
yeah, she was like, okay, whatever. And then here you go. And she didn't even, she was so, and actually we never saw that again. She clocked out after that. That was her last customer.
Immediately.
Because she didn't even give us our room number.
Yeah, because you're supposed to write. I thought she was supposed to write the room number on the little sleeve of the key card thing. She didn't even do that, and we were just. She didn't even tell us what our room number was,
Yeah.
and we were so frazzled from the day that we didn't even think about it. We're in the elevator going, "Which button do I press?"
Hmm.
I said, "I don't know where it's at." And by the time we got back, she was gone. She had snapped her fingers, and she
And
said,
she
"Do it,
left.
and die," and she was gone.
And then at this point, I have to pee so bad. So then we're waiting in line, and there's like a woman talking to a man. And I say, oh my God, I have to do something I'm not going to normally do. And I push past her. I pushed her to the ground. And I said, sorry to cut
Did
you
not,
off. I didn't push her to the ground. I'm just kidding. I literally just walked up.
but people will run with that if you
Yeah, they
don't
will.
clarify.
I didn't push her to the ground. I didn't do any of that, you guys. Calm down. But I walked up and I said, I'm so sorry to cut you guys off, but can you please tell me where the bathroom? I need to know where it is now. And he says, oh, it's
And so
downstairs.
But what's interesting is that when I was I was like stepped back because like he was going to use the bathroom, and both of the people were occupied. And when Malik went downstairs, I just thought the fact that he interrupted, I was like looking at the guy's face to see if he like thought that was rude or something. But he didn't. Like it didn't seem like he was like frazzled at all. He went back and started talking to the lady. His face was very calm, and then I realized that his face was very calm because apparently there was a debacle happening, and Malik so you didn't know that was happening?
No, I didn't know I didn't know this was happening.
At all. So he literally was like, "Oh, where's the bathroom at?" or whatever. So then he goes downstairs, and I'm looking at the guy. I'm like thinking, "Oh, maybe he thought that was rude or something," and because like he interrupted them. But no, he thought the lady was rude because he probably was. Malik saved him because he was getting yelled at all of a sudden. She said, "I really don't give a damn. I had my reservation from this blah blah blah. They gave me the confirmation email." So she basically went through exactly what we were talking about or going through on Booking.com, but she was in person, and the guy was like, "I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't know what to tell you," and she was like, "Well, I need my MF room and blah 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 blah," and she was like, "How you guys gonna do this to me? I have my thing. Look at here, right?" And then he was like trying to like say, "Oh, can I get the confirmation number?" And she's like, "You could have said that in the beginning," and she was just screaming at the top of her lungs.
Yes, she
And
was.
other lady was like, I just know she was looking at her going, "What the hell?" And then the manager came out. Mary the mall manager came out and started talking to the lady too, and it was literally so much. Anyways, the other lady ended up opening up. We went there, got our room. She wanted to make sure it was us. She said,
She said,
"Okay,
who's
sorry, is this
Malik?
Malik?" Yeah, she said, "Who's Malik? Is this
Yeah,
Malik right
and I
here?"
had to get up, and I
Um,
was already tired, and walk
he had to
over
give his
there.
ID, but I mean, I understand. We don't want anybody just randomly getting people's rooms or whatever. So, whatever. So then she like gave us our room number or whatever. We finally went upstairs, but we weren't done.
We weren't
There was
done.
more to happen in the night,
There
which is
was.
really crazy.
Very crazy. So then we go up there, we put our bags down, bring Darius' shit up, put his bags down. And then we're like, okay, so now we haven't eaten, by the way, I want you guys to know. And it's
At all.
dark as hell.
It's like 10,
It is 10.
9:30,
And then
10.
so now we're like, okay, let's still go to Soldier Field, try to get the tickets. Then after that, we're gonna drive all the way back to my place, park his car. Then we're gonna Uber from there, and then we're gonna
Malik
come
lives
back.
like 50 minutes away. I want you guys to know. It's not
It's
like
50
where he's
minutes with
down the
crazy
street.
traffic, but if there wasn't, it's like 30,
Right.
25.
Yeah. That's true.
But there was crazy traffic.
Right.
And then, so then we go, and then there's actually something going on. There's a police presence in the area.
Everything is blocked off. Everything. This is not the Soldier Field we were at earlier today. That day. Everything is blocked off. And we're like, what is going on? And I'm like, I don't even know how to get Malik into the stadium because there's no interest at all. And
But I'm going,
no
this
entrance.
is fake. This is fake because there's no way that you have to go and then you have to stay in that area, or no, you can't leave and you can't. Because I'm like, there's just no way. So I'm going, go down there, go down here, and let the thing reroute. And it was the truth.
Okay. Well, when no, there was no way for me to get in. Malik had to get out.
Well, no, I'm saying like at first it was like, okay, we'll try this way, and that way was blocked too. And then it was like, okay, we'll try this way, and that way was blocked too.
Right.
So I'm like, do I just get out here? And I
Right.
jump and roll. I do a barrel roll out like Mission Impossible in the busiest highway ever.
This is crazy.
This is very crazy. And I have to walk on the side. When I tell you guys, I walked around all of Soldier Field 3 times. And I'm having to go through.
He has his headphones in.
I have headphones in because I'm like, let me put in my headphones so I can't hear like anything that's going on. But then it's also a lot because I'm really scared because I'm scared that I'm gonna be in some place that I'm not supposed to be, and because I'm opening up gates, I'm prying open gates and sliding my body through them. I'm going in dark areas, creeping around, wearing regular clothes so I don't even look like I'm ready for the rodeo, and they're probably going, "What is going on?" And then I'm asking, I get to another thing, and I'm like, "Okay, like how do I get to the gate?" Actually, and then also I'm stopping at every single merch point. I'm going, "Do you guys have a pass? Do you guys have a jersey?"
Uh-uh.
And they said, "Absolutely not." Um, when I get to a thing, I basically I'm inside of the stadium talking to this person, so I have to take out my headphones. I'm hearing, I hope that you know that once I love you. And I'm going, oh my God, this is so much actually. And I'm trying to talk to her, but I'm also like, my mind is in three different places at once because I'm literally hearing Beyonce, but then I'm also trying to listen to her and I'm going, where's Gates? Please hurry, tell me. And she says, oh, you're going to have to do everything that you just did 2 more times. Okay. And I said, okay. So then I do everything I just did 2 more times, and I talk to this guy. He says, okay. And then I'm walking past people, but I'm so uncomfortable because my
The
headphones are in again.
the disorganization of like stadiums,
Oh my
it
God.
needs to be studied. Like this is crazy because not only did this happen, and we'll like talk about later on, but like I feel like every time I see somebody talking about any kind of seat situation at a stadium, it's always the same thing where you have to go to this gate and that gate and talk to this person, and nobody knows what they're talking about at all. You got to find this person and that person, and this it should not be a maze or a hunt to try to
Literally.
figure out who knows where your seats are supposed to be or whatever. That's crazy.
So
That's
then
crazy.
I go around again. I get kind of towards where the area that we were in before. I start to just try to walk through gate 0, and this guy says, buddy, what the hell do you think you're doing? And I said, well, I got an email, and I said, I got this email, and they said I need to come to gate 0, and they said I need to talk to somebody to get my tickets. And then, like, he was in a crowd of people, and they all were looking at me with a furrowed brow. And then the lady says, you need to go right there. And she points at a door with other people outside of it, but on top of it, it says 2. And then she says, you need to go right there and to the box office or whatever. But then in my head, I'm also thinking, okay, well, this isn't gate 0, but whatever. So I go to 2. I start talking to them. I said, I need to get to the box office. Is the box office open? And they said, and I don't know what was going on. They were also looking at me like I was crazy. And they said, I don't know if the box office is open. You're going to have to go over there and check at the booth. And then I said, okay. So then I went to like, but this was like the booth where you buy tickets at like Will Call or
Right,
whatever.
right.
I go over there, that shit's closed. Then I'm like, I need to go back and talk to the people I originally talked to. And I said, sorry, you guys. I'm really confused with where you told me to go. And she said, what do you mean you're confused? I said you go right there. Are you serious? It's right there. What is wrong with you? It's right there. Do I need to take you? Huh? Huh?
Oh
Huh?
my
I'm going to
gosh.
take you now, okay? You're going to make me have to move out of my position because I have to spend time taking you to the place that I said was right there. Then I said, I'm sorry. So then I walk over there and she pushes those people out of the way. Then I go, I came here though, and they told me that it was over here. She said, I don't give a fuck. I walk in there. The people who are in the box office are ready to go. Actually, they have on their bags. They are literally about to leave the place. Like, and she's already, the girl is already shaking her head no, but she's shaking her head no at the worker. And she does
Oh,
something really quickly, like a customer service thing, where then she looks at me and she's smiling. And I'm going, oh my God, I saw her shaking her head
that
no at the person.
he said that she broke the fourth
She
wall.
did break the fourth wall. And then she goes, yeah, what was going on? And I said, well, I got this email for these tickets and they said I need to pick up my tickets here. They told me it was 0, but this is actually 2 and I just don't know what to do anymore. And she said, oh, come tomorrow. And I said, but I'm here now, please. I said, please, I'm here now. You don't have to give me the tickets, please, but you could just tell me where they are. That's all I want to know. Please, can you just do that for me? She said, no, I can't. She said, Beyonce's on stage. She said, Beyonce's on stage. And I said, no, I'm at tomorrow's show. She said, okay, then you can come back tomorrow. And I said, no, I just want to know my tickets. Then the man steps in. He takes out a piece of paper. He slaps it on the thing. He says, what was your section? I said, it was B1. It doesn't exist anymore. And he said, okay, so then you're going to be somewhere here. And he circles the whole
He
map.
circles the stadium.
He
He
circles the whole
circles so
stadium. He says, you're going to be somewhere here. And I said, I knew that. I said, I knew that. And I said, I just want to know if they're comfortable. He said, whether they're, he said, I don't know where you are, whether they're going to be comparable or not. I don't know. And I really don't care. You need to come back tomorrow. And I said, but please, I just don't know what to do. I came all this way. And I said, "Ugh, okay, fine. When do I come back tomorrow? What? And he said, you need to come early as hell. And I said, when is early? When you guys open? He said, we open at 5. And I said, okay, fine. Mind you, this whole time I'm hearing Beyonce, by the way. Because I'm in the
Oh,
stadium now. So the whole time I'm hearing Beyonce. And then I'm like, okay, well, is it like based off availability? And they said, no, tomorrow. And now, at this point, they're literally saying everything tomorrow. I'm like, oh my God. So then
that is so much.
it's literally so much. So then I leave, and then I have to call Darius because I'm like, okay, like they said nothing. This was a waste of time. They said nothing. I'm hearing crazy vocals, by the way, while I'm talking to him the whole time.
Meanwhile, this whole time that's happening, I'm in the car, just driving down Lakeshore Drive, thinking I have nowhere to park, and I have Nicki Minaj blasting, going na 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 na, kissing stranger, because I'm trying to. When I was by Soldier Field, I could hear a little bit of a lick of something too, and I did not want to hear anything, so I had her blasting in the car, so I couldn't hear anything, and then I'm like 20 minutes down, which is crazy. 20 minutes down, Malik finally calls back and says, "Okay, you can come pick me up." They actually didn't tell me a single thing. And I said, oh, great.
So then he's like, okay, I can pick you up in Ohio. So then he said, start walking now.
Okay, because
Oh
I
my
knew
God.
it was gonna be so crazy trying to pick him back up again because I couldn't get into, like, there was no place to stop or do anything. I dropped him off at a red light dang near before, and there was no way I was gonna be able to come back to get him. So I was like, why don't you try to leave Soldier Field like a little farther away and then like send me your location, like a pin or something, because that's the only way I'm gonna be able to pick you up.
So then I leave Soldier Field. I actually walk forever, and I leave Soldier Field. I send him the pin, and I said, okay, here's what we're gonna do, because it's going to be a lot. And I tell him specific instructions. I say, first of all, send me your location. He's not doing that. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not getting a location.
Okay, I'm driving in traffic,
He's driving in
and
traffic.
I don't know how to send my location for. I don't know, not that I know how to send my location. I was trying to send him my ETA because when somebody sends you their location and you're driving to them, you can just share your ETA thing. And I was like, oh, I want to do that, but it only gives you that option for like the first 30 seconds after somebody sends you it. And I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm also driving to down Lakeshore Drive with
And
all this
I'm
traffic.
telling him, I'm saying, listen, this is what's gonna happen. There is 5 lanes in this road, okay? On the farthest left lane, there is a red car that has its hazards on in the middle of the road with nobody inside of it, and everybody's confused and combobulated, and we need to take advantage of that. Nobody else is in the right lane. There's very few and far between cars that are in this right lane. So what's going to happen, as soon as you see that red car, you need to be all the way in the right lane, and you need to be looking out for a red car that is parked in the middle of the street. As soon as you see that red car, you need to tell me so I know that you're going to be there. I'm going to be waiting completely opposite of it on the other side of this street. And then I'm going to jump in when you're there, okay? So then and he's like, okay, well, you'll just be like when you see me. And I said, I'm not going to be able to see you because there's 1,000 cars coming at me in the dark with headlights on, and I don't know what his car is in the daytime. I don't know what he drives. I don't know what's going on.
Which is crazy, but whatever.
I don't know what it looks like in the daytime. So I'm like, I'm not going to be able to see you at all. You're going to have to do it when you see me with the red car. I'm going to be opposite, and you're going to have to stop at that red car. So then time is moving on. I'm there for a really long time. And then
Because mind you, I was already past the stadium, probably about like 15 minutes past the stadium, 15 to 20 minutes. I have to turn around. I'm driving down again in traffic, okay? And then I have to pass the stadium because remember, there's no entrances to get into the stadium. So I pass the stadium, and then I have to take an exit and turn back around to get back on the street.
And there's 1,000 cars.
There's 1,000 cars everywhere. Every single lane is packed. I'm in the right lane.
Lane wasn't packed.
Yes, it was.
Okay, it wasn't packed when I was telling you to do what you need to do.
Yeah, you told me 15 minutes prior to, and that's why I told him. I said, Malik, I said, I'm gonna have to have you re-explain this because I said there's no way it's gonna be the same situation by the time I get there.
And I still
you said I wish you were here now. I said, okay, I wish we were in a
And I
hotel.
still was re-explaining it, and I said, okay,
He was
you need to make sure that you look for the red car, because
right.
that is what is going to be the indicator for both of us as to, I know that you are about to be here, and you know where I am, and that's at the red car. So then he says, okay, I see the red car. And I said,
No,
oh,
don't. No, wait,
okay, what happened? What happened?
wait.
Mm-hmm.
So I turned around. So I passed the stadium, right? I turned around. I'm driving. I now pass the stadium again on this way. I'm thinking I passed you, and I missed it. I missed the red car. I missed everything. So I go, oh, Malik, I think I passed you. I'm gonna have to come back around again. So I'm driving, thinking that I'm not even looking for you anymore because I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to get back into the left lane and turn around. All of a sudden, I look to my left and I see a red car, and I go, what was that? And then I look to my right, and Malik is there. But not only is he there, I'm in the right lane, and the right lane is packed. Malik said, "There's nobody in the right lane. You'll be able to come here."
In the right lane.
Yeah. Yes, there probably wasn't anyone in the right lane 15 minutes prior when the situation was going to change.
I said you need to hurry because we need to take advantage of this
Traffic
confusion
in downtown Chicago that I can change it, and I could just snap my fingers and be like, you know what, get out of my way.
Well, that's
and
what should have happened. So he tells me, he says, I see the red car. So in my head, I'm like, okay, well, he is about to.
I said, I see you.
No. He says, okay, I see the red car. So now I'm thinking, okay, he's about to be here. Then he says, okay, I see you. So I'm like, oh, okay, he's about to be. And then he says, I'm here. And I go, what is he even talking about that he's here? And
everybody, oh my God, this is so embarrassing.
And then I'm looking, because mind you guys, I'm looking straight ahead at all these cars coming towards this way. Okay, I can't see Darius' car, so I'm assuming he's going to stop at me because he says he sees me. He says he sees the red car. I'm waiting for him to stop at me. And then
I'm already stopped, by the way.
Next to me,
I'm already stopped.
To me, they're going.
You're hearing honks and
all the commotion I've ever heard in my life, and he's going, Malik, what are you doing?
Window down.
And I look behind me. He's behind me.
I'm one car length behind him.
I don't give a damn. How am I supposed to know that he's behind me? He should have said immediately, Malik, I'm behind you. But I'm looking for him coming at me.
Literally everybody and their mom is honking at me. There's people trying. I'm looking at my rearview mirror. There's people with their signals on trying to get out of my lane. I have my hazards on. I'm trying to open the door for Malik. They literally, it was the most packed lane. This was just the most stressful day I've ever had. It was crazy. And then Malik gets to the car. I don't have the doors unlocked. So he's like, what the fuck?
Open the door then. Open the door. And he's going, what are you doing? Why aren't you getting in the car? When are you getting in the car? And I'm going, open the door.
Sorry, in those situations, you're frazzled. I'm like, oh my God, get in. That was actually so much. And he didn't even get the tickets. Oh my God.
I didn't even get the tickets.
He didn't get the tickets. So we literally did all of that, and he didn't even have any tickets.
I didn't have any tickets. So now we're like, this was a lot. So now we drive back to my house and we're going, well, maybe we can get something over there. Everything's closed. We still haven't eaten the entire day at all whatsoever. He parks the car. I go into my house because I wanted to get some alcohol, because we had no money to pay for anything else.
So we went back to the house.
Yeah, we went back to the house, and then I go in to get the alcohol, and then while I'm in there though, I'm ordering an Uber, and I say to Darius before, I say, this is gonna be so weird because the Uber's gonna like get here, and then we're gonna be getting out of a car and into an Uber, and he's gonna be going, what was that? And he said, well, I don't give a damn.
Do people really think that?
No, but
that's
you need
weird.
to think of the optics, Darius. I'm not in Cincinnati. I'm not in Cincinnati. I'm in the ghetto. Okay, that's scary. I'm on edge if somebody's just going to be like, why are they there? And it's dark. It's really dark, and you're just being like, oh, let's just do this Uber. So I'm like, that's gonna be weird. And he's like, no, it's not. It's fine. I don't give a damn even if it is. So then I get out, and as soon as I walk out of my door, the world explodes, and I hear this big boom and a burst of lightning come down from the heavens, and I go, what was that? And then everything turns dark.
I literally was having the same situation. I'm in the car and I look up, and it seemed like it was eerily dark, and I said, what was that? And then almost like everyone's living room window, I saw a flash. It was just a bright white light, and then it was just dark again. And I said, what was that? And I texted Malik and I said, oh my God, what just happened?
And all the street lights turned off too.
So yes, that's what happened.
And I'm going, Oh my God, I don't know what that was, but I just saw that as soon as I got out. Because then now I'm in the car and I'm like, the Uber's about to get here. So the Uber comes and it arrives and it parks a little farther, which is even worse because now all the lights are out. There's not street lights on. And then we have to walk from the Uber to here. And then there's also, I'm hearing gunshots and I'm hearing gunshots. We need to go. Um,
What?
what you didn't remember me saying? I said, I hear gunshots. We need to go. And then I looked on the ring and somebody else said they heard that. You didn't hear that?
No, I didn't hear the gunshots.
And
I
then you
didn't
said,
know that
okay,
that was
okay, okay,
happening.
let's go, let's go, let's go. And then you took really long after that. So I was like, what is he doing?
Well, first of all, I didn't know the Uber was going to be there right when you got to the car, but you literally said the Uber is coming soon. And then I said, oh, that might be him right there. And I was looking in the rearview mirror. So then I had to get out because I was just waiting for you at the beginning. So I had to get out. And then it did look scary because I just opened the door. Malik didn't tell him that there was another person.
I'm already in there. And because I just saw, because I'm saying we need to go because there's too much going on. But then I look behind me and Darius is looking through the
Getting
art
my stuff
book.
out of the car. I didn't know
through the art book and the thing, and you're looking in there.
I was not looking through the art book. I didn't know that Uber was right there. He literally came right away. And before, when you were in the house, I wasn't getting my stuff together because I didn't know how long you were going to. I didn't even know you ordered the Uber until.
Well, sorry, we were on a time constraint, and this was a
Oh,
lot.
I didn't know. And so then I opened the door. I opened the door and the driver literally, the way he looked at me, he was like, he had a haunted face. He was like, who is this? And why are they getting him in my car? And I said, oh my God, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm with him. And
I
he literally
knew he
like
was going to be, and he said, I almost pulled off.
that's because he didn't know.
No, because I just think that this all is just, it was just too many crazy things that were happening at once. We were getting out of a car, the lights all turned off at once for some reason, and it was just so much and weird. And he literally was so scared and crazy. Also, I forgot to ask you, were you singing in that car? Or was that him? I was trying to figure out the whole time.
Do you think that I would be singing in the back of the Uber? No, it was not me. He had music videos on.
I know, but I was like, how does Darius know these songs?
And it was Kodak Black. And is it
something? And I was going, how does he know these songs? Like
it was not me.
And I really forgot to ask you that because I really just couldn't tell where the sound was coming from, or if it was coming from in front of me to the left or behind me to the left. But anyway, so then the Uber guy finally takes us back to the place. We finally get into the place. We're finally sitting down. At this point, we just had to order damn DoorDash
Literally,
to the place,
DoorDash,
which is so much. We were defeated. Darius is blowing up his air mattress and at 2 a.m.
I know it's so loud, but it really, I guess it wasn't that loud, but it seemed like it. And I'm over here thinking that we're about to get kicked out because they're gonna find out that we have an air mattress in there.
At this time, we had taken a hit of a stitch.
Yeah, that is probably good information.
And he was paranoid just a little.
I was just a tinge paranoid. I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna hear me, and it's gonna be so loud and this and that or whatever. But it wasn't. It was fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
So the next day we wake up, and our plan is obviously to go back to the stadium because now we have to figure out where our tickets are because we still don't know where our seats are. And it's now the day of Beyonce. Okay, we do not know where our seats are. And so we end up, we're like, okay, we're going to go there around like between 3 and 4. We're going to go. So we get in the Uber, go there, and do you want to explain what happens after that?
Yeah, so we get in the Uber, we get dropped off there. And then we're like, first of all, we look crazy. I just want to point
out. We're in our pajamas.
We literally look insane. And then I start immediately, because at first, maybe this was because we were there a little earlier, but I feel like there was more people that looked like us the day before, but night 3 didn't come to play. Actually,
right.
They did not come to play. And we looked
everybody was dressed to the 9.
And we looked so insane that a worker says, "Are you lost? Like, what's going on?" You look confused. What's going on? What's happening? And then I said, "Oh, well, I'm trying to get these tickets." And he said, "We're done with that. We aren't doing that." But he was actually talking about like doing upgrades or whatever.
Right.
And he's like, "Okay, what you need to do is you need to wait in this line and do this." And then
we're waiting in every line.
Yeah, we need to wait in this line. So then we're done and we wait in this line. And then the guy comes over and he says, "Okay, you guys,
there's 2 extra lines that we're going to open up."
So now they open up another line. We're in the front of the line looking a mess, which made me feel so embarrassed because now it seems like we came to Beyonce early.
4 seats and we're in pajamas.
Yeah, 4 seats. And we're like, we need to get in the front of the line. And we just look insane. And everybody else looks iconic. And Parkwood is passing us by and going, what was that? And then we're in the front of the line, and then I'm like, ooh, we should like ask somebody once again if we can go, because the other guy almost alluded that we wouldn't be able to come out of the show once we get our tickets. So I was like, I want to know if that's real or not, because what if we are stuck there and we're stuck there in our pajamas and we're stuck there
Right.
6 hours
I
earlier?
would be so pissed.
Like, that would be so much. So then Darius waits over a guy, and then I'm like, I start talking to him, and I'm like, so yeah, this is that, and are we gonna be able to leave? He's like, yeah, you'll be able to leave, And then I was like, but where do we wait in line for? And he's like, well, let me go ask my supervisor. The supervisor comes over here, and then the supervisor, I knew that he didn't know what I was talking about, and Darius and the supervisor ganged up on me.
I
And
did not. Malik
yes,
is crazy.
it's what happened, because I knew that
No.
he didn't know what I was talking about.
Okay, well, Malik didn't say that he didn't know what he was talking about.
Yes, I
Malik
did. I said, we don't have tickets. We don't have VIP tickets. What are you talking about? And then you said, no, I still have it. I still see it. I still have it.
No. This is what happened. The guy was saying, you're going to go over there with that black sign where it says the VIP, and you're going to talk to them. So we're talking to the supervisor now. So I'm like, oh, I'm listening to him. He's saying, you're just going to go and you're going to talk to them, right? I don't know. I'm not thinking anything about Sweet Honey Pit, whatever. And Malik Malik is looking confused, saying he doesn't know where it is. And he's like, it's right there, the thing. I'm like, oh, I see it. That's all I say is, I see it right there. And the guy continues on. And then we end up going to it. He was like, you're going to go over there.
I didn't say we don't have VIP tickets. He said, I don't give a fuck. That's where you go.
Right.
And I said, yes. And then I started looking confused, because I said, I only see a VIP booth. And I still didn't, and I couldn't imagine that was what he was talking about. But then you said, I see it too. So then I was like, well, maybe I'm thinking maybe it's not even the VIP booth that we're going to get into. Because he said that he doesn't give a damn that we don't have VIP tickets, but that's where we go. And then you said that you saw a booth. So I was like, oh, this is a different booth that's not the VIP booth.
Right. So I'm thinking, okay, he's a supervisor. He's telling us to go to this, even though we don't have VIP tickets. And I see what he's talking about. So let's go. That's literally what it was.
And then you say, okay, let's go. And then the guy says, okay, bye. And you guys high five. And
I didn't do that. I just said, okay.
I know that this man doesn't know what he's talking about. We just got out of the first in line, and we're going to go over there, and they're not going to know what we're talking about. And I'm mad. So then we get over there, and she says, I don't know what you guys are talking about. And then I said, I knew it. So then
I trusted the supervisor.
You shouldn't. You should trust me. And then I go back over to the supervisor. No. And then I go back over to the supervisor. And then the guy says, well, what do you think? What do you want? What do you want me to do? I told you to go to the wrong place. Fuck you guys. And then he said, and then I was like, what is going on? And
he said, do you guys have tickets to scan? He kept on saying that.
And I was going, yes, but they aren't real tickets. And he was
no one understood what was going on.
No one did at all.
Any of the people we ever talked to understood what's going on. And that was really annoying.
It was. Because mind you, my email said go to Gate Zero. I then found out that Gate Zero had nothing to do with anything. Really.
And what does that mean?
Which is just crazy. And then also, I then found out, because remember I was then told to go to the box office. We then found out the box office had nothing to do with anything either. Spoiler.
Right. And so we're talking to the guy or whatever, and the guy's like, oh, okay, so yeah, you're gonna go in here and do this, blah blah. He's giving these instructions. And so before we're about to leave talking to him, we're like, hey, so by the way, if we go in there, like, can we leave after? Go. He was like, oh no, like once you're in there, you might as well be a part of the show, because you cannot leave.
And there was also a black woman there that worked there that she was gonna ask questions. She was advocating for us because he was over us. And he was going, and then he said, oh yeah, and he just stopped talking to us and said, what do you need? And she said, well, you can finish them first. They obviously need something. And then he said, you're fine. Go home, take a nap, relax, get a drink, get brunch, get dinner. You can drive back here, do a lap. She's going to be on at 11:30 anyway. And the girl said, no, she said,
not this Beyonce. She said, not this time.
Beyonce. She actually came on 7 minutes earlier yesterday. She was on the dot at 8:22.
She said Beyonce normally goes on at 11, but this is Cowboy Carter.
Yeah.
She said Cowboy Carter comes on early. Last night she was there at 8:22. And we said, oh my God, of course. Of course. Now the time when we need more time, she comes on in the earliest time possible. Okay. At this point, we cut our losses. We're just we need to go back. So we go to the hotel.
Mind you, we just went to Soldier Field again for no reason. mind you.
Literally, there's so many like redundancy, no reason things, all because people weren't answering their phones. They didn't know what they were doing. All of this happened because people just didn't know what was going on. And so then we literally went back to the room. We started getting dressed, started drinking, and doing all the other stuff we needed to do. We got a couple drinks at the hotel, and then we ended up making it back probably around what 7 something. It was close. It was 7:40. I swear it was close to
So
8.
then we get there. This guy's he was actually kind of quite cute, and he was nice.
Which guy?
The guy who was like, "Don't worry, I'll be here this whole time. I'm gonna watch you." That's what he said, because he was like, "Just
I don't remember that.
get your floor braces first, baby. No, don't worry." And he said, "I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna watch you. Come over here."
What?
That's what he said. And then
He
he
said,
was
"No,
like,
don't worry."
he said, because we were like, okay, so what do we do? Because now we're inside the stadium now, and he's like, oh, I'm like, where do we wait? And he's like, you wait over there. He said, but first you need to get your floor braces. And he was like,
Oh, I do remember that guy.
yeah.
You're right. You're right.
And then so then he's like, okay, you gotta wait in this line.
He was really nice. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, you gotta wait in that line. So then we wait in that line. And then we're in the line, but then a guy comes over and it says, okay, we're making 2 lines. And then I'm like, but no, actually, I go to the bathroom, but I come back and I see Darius trailing around and voguing. Well, I see a lot of that was happening. I see a lot of commotion going on where people are moving. And I come over and I go, why aren't you trying to be in the front of the thing?
I didn't. First of all, wait. First of all, I went to the bathroom first.
Yes, but that didn't happen until
I know.
I came back and you were there.
I was in the bathroom first. I was just saying. I went to the bathroom first. I came back. Malik was in the line. First of all, we had a couple drinks at this point. I'm just trying to go see Beyonce. And Malik is policing me and where I'm standing.
I do need to police him because we have 30 minutes.
And first of all, or by the time the line was moving, I was with the line.
No, you
so that's
weren't.
Why, yes, I was.
You were doing
I was far enough with the line.
Bam, shabam. And
I was not going bam, bam, shabam at all.
That is what's happening.
Whatever. So somebody comes out and whatever.
Yeah, and then I put us,
like,
and I said, we need to go right here. And we kind of skipped people. I'm so sorry.
We didn't kind of. We did. And that's what he wanted me to do, and I couldn't do it.
That is what I wanted him to do, but I'm sorry we did not have the time. I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we did not do it again because over here, I was like, don't ever get in the second line, you guys. If there's one thing you take from me, if they make 2 lines, don't ever get in the second one. Stay in the first, because then a woman comes out and says, what are you doing? She says, what are you doing to the man?
So my memories are getting jogged. Sorry, this is the part where I was drunk. So that white man comes out. It was a man, and he was like, "Oh, didn't do 2 lines." Apparently, he was not the most powerful person at Soldier Field. He was actually a low level person because the actual most powerful woman at Soldier Field came out and said, "This is not going to cut it." She said, "I need everybody to make this worse."
Verbatim, she said that.
Yes. And that's really rude.
Really great. He said, but I don't know. He said, but I thought. And then she said, absolutely not. She absolved that second line immediately. I would have been pissed if we were in there. She said, and by the way, if any of you guys are trying to exchange seats for a little obstructive view, you are not going to be able to do that. You're going to get a refund and you can go home.
Yes. She said we're only doing refunds only, and you need to leave. She said you cannot stay for the show. We will give you a refund and you have to go.
Which we already knew, because I was trying to tell when Darius was in the bathroom, there was these people behind me and they were like asking, was this the line for this? And I was trying to tell them, well, this guy told me earlier that they aren't going to do that anymore. And I don't know if there was 2 of them and one of them thought I was trying to set them up. Because I was like, I don't even know if you guys should waste your time in this, because they told me that they aren't going to do that anymore. And then the girl that she was with, the girl was like, so should we just leave this line? And she said, no. And I said, oh, okay, well, we'll have fun. And they did have to leave the line, so what now? But anyway, so then we're staying there, and then I hear behind me, and I'm on edge a little, because I hear behind me, who the fuck do these 2 people think they are, and what the fuck are they doing here, and what the fuck are their names, and who the fuck are they? And I'm so sorry. And we technically were in the wrong, but I also knew what was going on, and in that we were in a very specific situation that I know that they weren't in. That their shit didn't matter. Sorry, it didn't. And then I turned around and I said, I'm the owner of this goddamn house.
I'm the owner of this house.
I said, I'm the owner of this goddamn house. That's who I am. First of all, you guys are in here because you might want a refund. You might want, and you need to figure that out immediately. We need to come here to pick up tickets. I normally would never do anything like this, but I'm sorry. I had to. And they left. So I don't know what they were complaining about anyways, because they ended up leaving.
And then we talked to the most powerful woman that won
We did
eventually. And she
eventually.
said, "Oh, you're gonna talk to this booth," and we had to go to another
So
booth.
then,
It
yeah.
was
So
this was
then the thing
crazy.
wasn't even there. So then she said, "Now what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna there. I have my." She said, "I have my people, on at this section. I have them here and I have them there, and that's what you're gonna have to do." So then I go. We're running at this point because
Running.
the thing is doing making noise. My hat's flying off of me.
She's literally about
And
to come on
yeah, she's
the
literally about to
stage.
come on.
We don't have seats.
We don't have seats. So then I'm going to the least powerful people ever. And I'm going, "Hey, so what do you tell me, please?" And then she says, "I don't know." And then I'm talking to this other guy and he's going, "Well, what are you talking about?" He said, "Oh," and I said, "Just never mind." And then, cause I said, "Well, we don't have seats." He said, "Get your seat, get your seat." I said, "We don't have any." He said, "Well," and I said, "Never mind." So then we walk all the way to, and then we found another person, and then she says, "Okay, you need to leave outside of this thing. You need to go through this tunnel, and then we get there." So then we get to the tunnel. We're at the tunnel, and then this lady's like, "Listen, you need to find this man." He says,
This
"This."
is
She says,
crazy.
"This
And she shows a
man could
picture.
be anywhere in the entire stadium. Okay, you aren't gonna know where he is. He disappears. It's a stallion in the wind. You won't ever
My
see where
God.
he's coming or going, but you'll know whenever he's here." Is what she said.
Can you
And I said,
stop?
"Okay." And she said, "You're gonna take a picture of him." She held up a picture of him, and it was him going like this. Oh, and that's what he was doing. And then, and that's what
Oh
was
my
happening.
gosh.
That's what was happening
Right.
behind him because the show was about to start.
Literally, she had the fireworks.
And then, so then I'm like, "Oh my God," I'm trying to look. I'm going, "Is this you? Is this you?" No. And I said, "Is this you?" I pulled up the thing and I put it next to him. I said, "Yes, this is you, King." And I said, "Okay, we need our tickets." He said, "Where are you?" And I said, "B2, row 15, please." And he said, "Okay, you're in C2, row 2. And then I'm going,
And Malik said C2 row 2. I said C2 row 2. I said, "Oh, they got us."
mind you, Beyonce singing.
Literally.
Mind you, she's
We're
singing.
running. We're literally sprinting to our
It's
seats.
going, mind you, we jumped over a fence too. I forgot about that part. We had to get out. We had to tuck
Oh
and
my
roll on the
God.
highway because at this point we were already coming there. Our Uber was already like coming late, that they had already closed off all the Soldier Field exits. So everybody's having to get out on the highway and like go through the highway. And we're having to get out our cars on the highway, and it's going, sauce, and we're running and we're jumping over fences literally to get to better things. I'm not even kidding. I'm in my cowboy boots. Somebody stepped on me with the cowboy boots. And then we go in, and we finally find out things. We're in row 2. They didn't do us dirty.
They didn't. That was we were like talking like, "Oh, maybe they'll do like row 8 or like row 10." And we were also behind a VIP section, so we were like, maybe they would even do worse. Like maybe they can do 11 or 12 and say, "Well, this is like what it is because we were already behind a VIP section." But they gave us row 2, and we were gagged actually.
Yeah, we were.
And that was nice of them. So
yeah,
at the end of the day, they still did a lot.
they did the
But I'm glad we got
most.
row 2.
Yeah, we did get road 2, so that was nice. So I guess if you guys have this, if you guys are going to the Cowboy Carter in the future and then your thing is obstructed, just don't even worry about it. They'll have you covered,
Right.
because you'll be fine, I guess. And everybody, mind you, I was already looking up other testimonials, and everybody else was fine. So I was thinking that we are probably going to be fine too, but you just can never be sure.
Literally, you can never be sure, especially when they're selling out and seats were just disappearing day by day. And I was just scared. I was like, do they have our right seats? Like, and my thing was that like day by day the seats were like going away, so it was like if in the case we weren't happy with it, there would then be no seats to upgrade to. I mean, no seats to be like, hey, can we at least get this seat? We wouldn't be able to do that at all if all the seats are gone. That's why I didn't want to do it the day of and look crazy, but they got us, so good on them. We did a 2-hour episode and everyone's and they're already gone. They said we don't give a damn.
I said we don't give a damn. We hated the show too, but we'll stay tuned for that episode because
it was trash.
To talk about.
So that means Act 3. Don't even go to Act 3.
Yeah.
It's probably not even going to be worth it.
Honestly, not. So
yeah, so I don't think you should go at all. And then especially not like in Chicago. I heard like in Chicago she doesn't do very well, or any place like in the Midwest at all. I don't think she does very well, but. So yeah, but that was basically it. We had a show. We'll have a discussion in a little meeting about what we thought about the show and all of the in-depth stuff about that. But this was just all the things that happened beforehand.
Yes, and that needed a whole episode to itself because that was crazy.
Literally,
we forgot to tell them about the.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Send your emails in, guys. Send your emails. You guys know what to do. We say it every single week. We wait to the end, and it's always a lot. But send your emails in because we're gonna have an episode very soon, an email episode very, very, very soon, very, very, very soon. Okay, so send them in. Let us know any kind of tea, any situations you ever had. We get emails periodically. A lot of them aren't emails about did I do a lot. I feel like
you guys need to start doing this, and then you guys should maybe start doing this, and I also think you guys should start doing this. And I don't really remember asking for a suggestion, but I
well,
appreciate
I don't
it
know.
anyways.
I haven't read any of the emails, so I don't know what they say. But maybe they're nice. Malik just doesn't like to talk to people and read emails.
That's not true. Darius is the one
But
who's always reading the emails. He's texting to Tammy and Patrick and saying this. I don't know what you guys are sending because I really don't read them. But I just feel like when I was
he has his
looking,
notifications off for emails, but I get every email and I see it immediately when it comes in, and it comes up on my
but
phone.
I
And
know
I
that
go,
when I was looking for something last time, a lot of them were like, "You should watch this," and I'm like, "Okay, thank you." But we need more. If you're gonna send a session, you have to spill your guts too. So if you're gonna say
right.
something, you have to also be like,
Give us suggestions after your email.
yeah, you have to be like, by the way, this also happened to me, and then you can say whatever you need to say. Because we need more of those. But email us anything for real, though. I guess you guys. I'm not being picky about whatever you email us. My God.
We will eventually get to all the emails and read them all. All like even all the ones that are not necessarily did I do a lot, but we just want to get more did I do a lot videos so we can do more episodes is what it is.
Yeah. It
All
doesn't
right.
have to be like, did you do a lot of videos? It can be any type of entertaining story that you think that we'd find entertaining.
Right. And yeah, I think that we don't have any recommendations other than don't ever go to Beyonce in the Midwest. It was a little chilly to me. Did you think it was cold at the end of the day or no?
I don't know. I was hot. Something was happening to me, and something was pumping through my blood, where I only started to feel cold. I don't even think I really started to feel cold. I knew that it was cold though, but my body did something. Beyonce's harmonies did something to me,
and my toes were pressed up against my heel.
Really?
It was a lot. Yes, it was a lot.
Uncomfortable, and I was even like, yeah, if you want some cowboy boots, honestly, look at the TikTok shop because those are so comfortable. And I didn't have any inserts in them at all. And I was literally I was more uncomfortable walking around all that time in my Docs than I was in those cowboy boots. I
wonder if yours were well, mine has a higher heel. It's just when you're in sorry, I didn't have my mic on. Mine has a higher heel, so my feet were just like in the falling to the front. It was just a lot. And last time with Renaissance, we were so close, I didn't even have to have them on, which I probably didn't have to have them on this time either, but whatever. We had a good time, but we'll talk about that in another video. Do you have anything else to say now that they've already checked out?
They did already check out. I don't know, like, comment, subscribe.
Yep, make sure you guys leaving us a review on all the platforms. And thank you all the people who have left the review already. We really, really, really appreciate it. Yeah, send us emails, and I think that's it.
Okay, you guys, bye. Have a nice day. Stream Cowboy
Peace
Carter,
out.
I guess.
Stream Cowboy Carter. See you guys next time.